Somebody talk. Do we have an echo?
I don't hear anything.
Not wood.
I don't hear an echo.
No, I don't hear an echo either. Well,
I hear a very quiet echo.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
But it's not
at
bad.
least we can hear each other pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's just wait for a minute till we get a few people here.
Yeah.
I really dig that opening. There's some parts of the Evil Dead that's in there, and I was like, oh, that's my heart right there. That's my jam.
Yeah.
I
That opening
downloaded
is
little
cool.
clips of each of those videos. I patched them all together, and then the little bit of music that I put together, it just fit perfectly, and I have no idea why.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you I know this might be stuff we might end up getting into, or but the original Evil Dead and the original Dawn of the Dead are my two all-time favorite horror movies, and I might even throw just movies in there as well, because I think for both of them, I've seen them both at least over 30 or 40 times a piece.
Oh, wow.
Just my go-to, I've watched them enough times.
I have that one in my background?
Oh, yeah.
I have it in the background.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have that one.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my, I'll have to bring down my two pieces from the original one that I have that are like two of my holy grail pieces that I love. But yeah, those were what got me into horror, because I'm such a special effects guy versus a CGI guy, and Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi on the first one, just the stuff that they pulled off on the budget that they had is still being emulated today in a lot of horror movies. I mean, that's the best part, because you see the stuff that there's a couple original jump scares in the original Evil Dead, which still work to this day. If no one's ever seen it, and you let them watch it, they jump each time, and I'm like, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Welcome.
Hey.
Dan.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey.
I guess I should say welcome everybody to Spirits+Screams. We have Adam from bearded4eyesman. I love that name.
That's
so cool.
Something. Yeah, I wish I had a YouTube channel. I'm thinking about doing one eventually, but maybe it's one of those things that's so foreign to me to sit there and talk to a mic and a screen and just talk to myself and then edit it and go, hopefully somebody will watch this.
You should give it a try.
Yeah.
I'd like to, and I was thinking about doing one that was going to be I was going to call it Beards, Brews, and Movie Reviews, because I love beer, and I'd love to sit there and just sit there.
Yeah, it's a cool title.
Does everybody have their beverages?
I was gonna go open mine here in a second. I have a chocolate. I have a chocolate stout that I was gonna go open up, and
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I had it for a while sitting up there, but again, thank you guys all so much for having me. I love your show. I love your audience. It's so nice and kind, and nice of Miss Nye there to let me come on, just tell everybody about me. I appreciate that. I'm very kind of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming on. We really are glad to have you here. It's going to be fun.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, thanks for stopping
We've already started talking about Evil Dead.
Yes, no, it's that Evil Dead definitely it's one of those ones that I try to tell people. I'm like, if you're going to try to jump in somewhere into horror, if you don't know much about it, or if you want to see where someone who had a love for the craft and a good story to boot, and that, of course, since Evil Dead's come out, that story's been told over and over and over and over and over again. But you got to go back to the original for it to kind of take hold and take effect. And that original one is there's just something so gritty and visceral about it that a lot of people, when they say, "Oh, I like the remake better," I'm like, "Really? You like the remake better? Seriously?" Like it's okay, but I'm an original guy, that's for sure.
I got to see the original one for the first time back in my hometown at the drive-in theater.
Oh,
cool.
So jealous.
Awesome. It was awesome. It was the third film that evening, and my friends and I were all hanging out and stuff, and you're really tired by the third film. but we woke right back up and we
Oh,
were
of course,
like
yeah.
totally into it. That was
Some
so
of the
much fun.
some of those scenes, they're just so good. I mean the first, when they're all just sitting there in the and I'm, of course, spoiler alert here if you've never seen it. For the crowd, I'm sure everyone has, but I love that scene when when the door opens, by itself to the basement, and then everybody's looking around like, what's going on there? That's just where it kind of starts for me. When,
Right.
I mean, it's a good movie to start to boot, but that's when you're like, something's about to go down.
Yeah. Patrick saying he liked the original Evil Dead too.
Yeah. It's somewhat. I mean, don't get me wrong. The remake was good.
Right.
The fact that and how can I say this without, I'm by no means a misogynist by any stretch of the imagination, but what I'm saying is that they have the female protagonist in the second one was a different change of pace, but I love just Bruce Campbell. I mean, that's just my guy right there. I mean, as much as she did a great job in the remake and everything like that, just him as Ash. Ash. Come on, it's Evil Dead.
That's an iconic character, but I like the female protagonist.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I said. Don't get me wrong; it was a
Yeah.
great film. I mean, there were some parts of that I was surprised with how much I want to say gore that they got away with in that one. That for a newer release at the time, because I think when that came out, it was just kind of getting back into that scene of a little bit more gore, a little bit more hardcore things of that nature. So I was very surprised for sure. Yeah, I like that one. What about you guys? I mean, any preference versus the remake versus the original?
But like any movie?
Remake.
Oh no, just the Evil Dead for right now. The Evil Dead. What do you think about that? I mean, obviously.
I mean, I like the remake. I don't really like to compare. I think they both have their moments.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree there. Actually, that was something I was about to get into. Is when I'm glad you brought that up. Was that when people compare remakes to originals, sometimes like that, you're not giving the just due that each one presents. That's another thing that I always talk about too. Now, like my favorite, I guess, remake, if you will, was the Texas Chainsaw that had Jessica Biel in it. That one right there, about an early, or it was like 01 or 02. That one,
y'all,
to me,
what?
that one.
That's a good one.
No, I mean, it's, to me, that had its it's really well done. It was really well put together, and that one had some scenes that were so. No, I'm not saying she did anything for the film. Don't get me wrong there. I mean, but
No, but I like that version though.
yes, no, the way it was set up and the way it was put together, and the crew,
I hear
like
you.
the cast that they used, aside from Jessica Biel, but the guy that they had to play Leatherface, he was spot on. And like the one thing that really gets me about that one is the sound quality. Like if you play that one, if you're sitting there by yourself and the chainsaw kicks on, you're like, you can tell like it's good. But I remember my little sister-in-law, hello, Basic Autumn.
Hey, welcome.
Hey. No, I was when she was younger, she's 17 now, but when she was younger, she loved horror, and I said, did you ever see the original Texas Chainsaw? So, no. I said, well, let's watch it. And when it got done, I was like, how'd you like it? She goes, it's all right compared to some of the stuff now. I was like, yeah, but you can't do that. I was like, you can't. I was, the original is still the original. I mean, you can't. My thing is, I always like to say is, when you look at a movie like the original Texas Chainsaw,
Hey, Lord.
Is that you got to put yourself back in the shoes of when that came out. Like if you had any expectation when you went into the theater, whether it be a Grindhouse, the drive-in, anything like that, and you sat there and saw that for the first time, something like that was going on, it freaked people out. I mean, there was nothing to compare it to. Like when you saw that, that's why I think I love about the original Texas Chainsaw. It's just so visceral, it's so gritty, it's so raw, like it's almost, it's like filmed as if it was like an underground film. I mean, that it made so much money. It's ridiculous, but that's the thing I like about the original. I mean, there's tons of stuff I might have changed about the original, some of the excess amount of screaming, but I guess, it is what it is, some of those scenes, but the original, to me, that's just, original raw horror right there is the original Texas Chainsaw, without question.
Right.
For
But
everybody new that's joined in, we're talking about Evil Dead, and now we're into Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you guys have any movies we should talk about, just comment them.
oh,
So I
absolutely.
have a confession about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've
Oh
actually seen
God.
the remake with Jessica Biel first. I've seen that
Mm.
long before I've seen the original movie. Yes!
It's because you're
I've
young.
seen it long before the original movie. I think it was like years until I've seen
Mhm.
the original movie. So for me, the remake is kind of the original movie because I've seen it
Mhm.
first.
Oh yeah, that'll do. I mean, that happens. That happens a lot. I mean, with the amount of movie, the amount of remakes, the amount of everything that's out there.
Yeah.
You know, when you try to tell somebody, with the, I mean, well, in the early and mid 2000s, when all the Exorcist prequels were coming out and things like that, people were like, if there was anybody that was like, "Oh, this has been done before," I'm like, "Yeah, way back, like the original." You know, might want to start there, you know,
Yeah.
even though they had prequels and stuff like that. But I'm like, you might want to start with that one. That's
It's
the one
freaky
that,
with movies like The Fly, and nobody realizes, oh, but there was one way back
Mhm.
then, too,
Yeah.
Right.
before the 70s. And you
Yep.
gotta
Yeah.
watch that, too, or The Thing.
Oh
What was
yeah.
it?
Oh,
The Thing.
Mhm.
the thing. Yeah, the thing, because it was the Thing from Outer Space, I believe, was the original title. That one. But yeah, that's true. I mean, when you hear about, or like, I'm one of those people too. I grew up. My parents are in their 70s, but I grew up listening to music from the 60s and 70s and stuff like that with them. And you know, sometimes I'd hear a song, I'd be like, "Oh, that's so good." And my dad would always be like, "Do you want to hear the original one?" I'd be like, "I thought that was the original." You know. So, but no, it's the same thing with movies, especially with horror and anything like that. There's been so many remakes, and you know, how many modern day Shakespeare movies have there been, but not a Shakespeare title? It's a different title, and then somebody's like, "Oh, did you know that was a Shakespeare movie?" Like, "Oh, I didn't know that," you know, until somebody points it out to you.
Right. Dan, oh, sorry, I went wrong. Let's do this. Dan saying the
Mm.
TCM remake made some good changes. I
Mhm.
like the grittiness of the
There
original.
you go, man after
Yeah.
my own heart, right there. That's for sure.
I like how the girl
Do you
freaks
know?
out at the end of the original. Remember how she's
Mhm.
screaming when
Oh
she got
yeah,
away?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just twirling all around with the chainsaw. I mean, because
Yeah.
that's just, it's almost a funny mess to me. I love the chainsaw. That's right. Yeah, like when he's just twirling around at the end, because it's just pure insanity at that point. Because you're like, what am I watching? You know, it's just
Yeah.
bizarre.
And she just starts laughing.
Yeah.
The I started laughing. The
She,
part
she's
where
doing the Nye laugh.
oh God. The part where he accidentally, saws his leg,
Hmm.
I lose it right there. I start laughing so
Oh yeah. I mean, well, I love that one. The part in the remake though that really gets me, even my buddy, when I was telling him, we were talking about the other day, he said the part where he lifts him up onto the hook and he tries to get himself off and he falls back down on it. Every time you watch it, you go, "Ooh," but
Oh yeah.
and you can hear it and you're like, oh, that would it'd be rough.
You feel it.
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you, that's one of the things.
Examples of
Yeah,
remakes that should have happened. Yeah, I agree with the Ice Lord there
that's true.
about the Fly and the Thing remake. That was a good example of like when you improve kind of the quality of the original.
Mhm.
Right.
Oh yeah, there's been, and that's what I mean. Nice rant about the stop with the remakes. You know, come on, you gotta agree. You know, to a point though, to a point you gotta point. And the fact is that with there being so little originality in Hollywood now, you have to really dig deep. And with everybody just going, well, it's a brand name, we're gonna make money off it regardless, doesn't mean you're making a good movie. You're just using a name. That's all there is to it. I mean, how many times has that happened when you're like, oh,
Right.
you know. Speaking of, got my Hufflepuff shirt on. We went and saw the new Fantastic Beasts the other night, and I gotta say,
How was that?
unfortunately, as much as I like the first two, very good. I missed Johnny Depp for one thing. Missed him terribly because he makes a good Grindelwald. The new guy was good. He's that Mickelson, that whatever that I forget, Swedish guy or something like that, or he's
Mikhail, whatever,
yeah,
Mickelson.
yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's good. I mean, he's really good. But the third one, it just kind of, it kind of runs at this slow speed, and then there's no like climax. You get it, and then you're like, yeah, and then it's there again, and you go, okay, there's nothing, because my wife was saying that there's supposed to be 5 of those coming out, 5 of the Fantastic Beasts or something like that. But when you look at a series that would have a lot of stuff going on there that you want to see go on, but it ended in a very just middle of the road moment. You go, okay, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but anywho, it was.
I think they're just trying to cash in on the Harry Potter franchise, and they're running it into the ground, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool characters in it, and there's some really good, there's some new stuff that's going on in it, and I love the parallels that they do between Hitler and Grindelwald, and it's really that for that time, it's very, very cool. But there's so much more they could have done with it, and and they take the stories and they kind of arc one over here and they arc one over here, but they don't really arc. They just kind of flow, and you just go, no, well, hopefully in the next one it'll be that way. But I felt that way kind of about some of the other Harry Potters as well,
Oh, that's a cool idea. Nice word.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. Should
Oh,
get on that.
Yeah. Maybe Kubrick will give you his give you some tips from the
Hey, Brittany. Hi.
Hi, Brittany.
Hey.
That's a cute name.
I do. I like that too.
Yeah, it's a cool name.
But no, again, going back to some of those, like I said, the remakes and things like that, I always find it very a daunting task to actually look at one and then look at another, like the original or something like that, and just go, oh, well, they didn't do this and they didn't do that. Maybe they didn't want to do that and they didn't want to do this. They want to take it a little different. But I know I'm such a purist that if I were given the reins, I'd be like, oh, we should do it like the other one. Like I know I'm that type of person for sure. But that's why.
But there are some remakes that are basically just like exactly reenacting the original.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work though.
No, I know that's a very good way of looking
like
at
when they did Psycho, they did a frame by frame basically, but that's tough.
Don't talk about that. Ooh, the Psycho remake.
That was terrible.
God.
But they went frame by frame though.
Yeah, and that was the one with
Vince Vaughn.
Yes.
Yeah, and what's her name? The girl, the blonde girl.
Anne Heche. Anne Heche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home.
It was bad.
Yeah. And it's funny when it comes to the Psycho franchise. I'm one of those people, and no joke, I actually really, I know some people look down on I think it's my favorite. I think it's like number 4, the one where he's the caller in, where he calls into the radio station. And
I like that one.
That one's dope. They used to play that one on TV all the time, and I really got into that. I was like, it was a very unique style to go with at the time, because I think it came out like 87 or 88 or something like that, back when radio show hosts were big deal and people across the country would call in and things like that. But I'm pretty sure that one's either the 3rd or the 4th one, but I really dig that.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Little guy running around there in the background. So
hi, little guy.
Yeah.
Hi.
But yeah, no, and I love all your dolls back there. The dolls back there.
Thank you.
I love all your books and your movies, and I like your poster back there too with the skull on it. Everything's cool. I just happen to have nothing behind because, but just where I got set up. Now, hopefully, eventually, I'll have either a place out in my
you'll get something.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got.
You'll get there.
Everything's right where it is, because that's where the space for it is. But So
how big is your collection?
Well, I got my own.
He stole my question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nye. I'm trying to be quiet. I'm trying
Nye,
really
you had
hard.
something to say. Go ahead.
Nye is guiding this live stream. I'm supposed to shut up. I will shut up. Here, I'll drink.
I was fascinated with Adam talking. He was just letting Adam talk. He's so fascinating.
I'm a talker. Just cut me off if you have to. My goodness, are you kidding me?
How many movies do you own? Have you counted them?
Right now,
I asked you.
That's a great question. Thank you. No, at this point in time, I would say, I think I would have at least.
Oh, thank you, Strawberry.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool. The DVDs and Blu-rays, and just I would say about, it's pretty modest compared to a lot of other people, but I would say about 1100, 1200, something like that. You know, but
That's
Wow.
decent.
you know, yeah, I mean, over the years, I've gotten rid of so many, kept so many things of that nature. You know, but I've definitely have some ones that I've held on to in specific genres, and you know, like the rare obscure stuff. That's the stuff that I really liked. I mean, when Netflix was sending them home to you, when you had to sign up for them to send them home to you, and Blockbuster would send them home to you and things like that, I really got into some of the more like obscure genres of horror. Like I think my all-time favorite would have to be the 70s Italian subgenre of horror with Fulci and
Yeah.
you know, and Argento and all these guys that really started, you know, doing some massive moves when it comes to horror. I mean, I remember the very first time I sat by myself and I had the stereo up really loud and watched the original Suspiria. That's a creepy movie. Like the colors, the sound, like everything that like you hear the in the background, you hear him going witch, you know, you hear it like all the time. It's a great flick. And for any, I mean, I haven't seen the remake. I did hear good things.
I haven't either. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
You
it.
haven't seen it?
Not the remake.
No.
No,
I thought everybody's seen it.
Yes.
People kept telling me not to see it.
I
People
mean,
kept
I
telling me,
wasn't too
"Don't
crazy
see it."
about it, but yeah, there's moments.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. The original definitely has some slower moments, but you know, Argento, just some of his style, all that Goblin soundtrack. That's just straight loveliness right there. I mean, those guys are phenomenal. But yeah, that's actually one of the ones right here. I have I think I have a 3-disc special
Oh.
edition of that one that came out years ago.
Wow.
And it was limited numbered too. I think my number is 140 of 60,000. So it's pretty low
cool.
number even. But yeah, this is back when Anchor Bay used to put out massive amounts of good quality product, but then they joined up with Stars and became hot garbage to me. But that's just me personally. I've never, you know, I'm not a big fan, but yeah, like the original came with like the cool thing I loved about this one too. Back when movies came with it comes with like this huge colored booklet of all the scenes and stuff like that too, just and essays and things like that of the movie, and just so good. And this one I kept them all closed, but it came with like 10 lobby cards too. I kept that closed. But yeah, you know, speaking just of that genre and those directors, those guys, they just started, you know, something massive over there, and then people started catching on, and they were like, this is so, you know, so good. But hard to remake Argento, so might as well put your own spin. It's true. Yeah, he was a pioneer. I mean, absolutely. But no, great question. Sorry if I went off on a tangent there, but yeah.
Have any of you seen the movie Veronica? Yeah, I've seen it. The one on Netflix, right?
Of
Yes,
course.
I've
If
heard about
anybody's seen it, Curly's seen it.
I gotta apologize. I have not seen it. Is it good?
What is it about, Curly?
It's, if I remember correctly, if I'm thinking about the right movies, when this girl was messing with a Ouija board, and then she started getting haunted and stuff.
Oh,
And I remember there was that scene where there was like this naked man in the dark room or something. I think it was her dad. The main scene I remember.
little creepy. That'd be
Like, I remember they hyped this movie up. They said this was so scary. People couldn't finish it. People were turning it off.
that one.
But it wasn't scary.
I know which one you're talking about. I watched the trailer for it, and the trailer seems to pump it up way more than what it should be, because
Yeah.
you can edit a trailer, you know. I mean, how many of us have seen a trailer and go, well, I just saw the movie, I don't need to go.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the movie was okay, but they way overhyped it. They made it sound like it's like the scariest shit you'll ever see. And
Well, I mean, how many times have when it comes to the possession movies, oh, this is the scariest possession movie that's ever been, and you're like, That's all right. It's just as good as any of the other ones that have come out. It wasn't scary
See,
at all.
she says it wasn't scary. Yeah, like it wasn't scary.
It wasn't.
And especially the way they hyped it up. They hyped it up like people was turning the movie off. People couldn't finish the movie because it was so scary. And I remember watching it and I'm like, what
Me
is gonna
too.
start? That scary
Yeah.
part that people was turning off the movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Yeah, I mean that movie scene that you would say most others haven't seen. Oh, okay, I got a good one for that.
Good question.
I'm sure Curly and I have 20 of them.
Yeah, probably.
Let me just go through my playlist on YouTube, like
Yeah.
the movies I reviewed.
Well, I'll tell you one that I've always thrown at people when it comes to movies you may not have seen, or they saw the remake and didn't realize that there was original of it. Goes back to that category. Was the original The Eye, the one that came out with Jessica Alba was not the original. The original Eye was the Korean one from the Pang brothers.
It wasn't Korean. I'm sorry
wasn't
to
Korean?
correct you. No, it was like Chinese or something. It isn't Korean.
For some reason, I always thought it was
know
Korean.
what it is.
But yeah, either way, I mean, it's a tremendous way better than the remake.
Yeah, definitely. The remake sucked for that one.
There's parts of it that are just almost disturbing. Like you're watching it, and there were parts of it that you could feel, like there were parts of it, and I don't say this very often, but there were parts of it you could feel the hairs on the back of your neck kind of stand up when you're
it was
watching
creepy.
it. Ooh, that's pretty rough.
Have you seen the second one that they made? I don't think it was the Payne brothers actually, but there was the Eye 2 remake, the original.
Yeah,
They never made a remake in the US, but there was the original when the girl was pregnant and she started she tried to commit suicide, but she didn't die, and she started seeing her boyfriend's wife, who he was cheating on her with, who committed suicide. It wasn't as good as the first one, but
no, there you go. Yeah, the original. Yeah. I appreciate that. No, that was just one that ever since I saw that, it stuck with me. Like, and that's why I still tell people to this day. It was so. And the ending's it's kind of crazy too. I mean,
it was always said to me, the ending though.
It's very, very odd. It's an odd ending, not very like
it's
you.
Sad.
But there's parts of it in the middle. Now I don't want to give it away, but the part where she's doing the calligraphy, oh god, like that scene, it's just super creepy. But yeah, that's definitely one I would say. What about the rest of you there?
The one at the top of my head is Dead Leaves, because I just reviewed it.
Yeah.
I know one's heard of that movie. Like, what is this night?
What was about it? What was it about that kind of made you, that really, really stuck with you?
I mean, I ordered it from. Have you guys heard of Edward R. Hamilton Bookseller Company? Anybody?
I've heard.
Yes, I have.
I hear crickets.
Crickets.
No one's heard of it.
Nope.
Yeah, I ordered it. I mean, it was only $1.95, and I saw the synopsis of it. Yeah, they were getting rid of it. So it was fine. Yeah, like guy loses his girlfriend to an accident. I'm not gonna say what the accident is, and if I say it, I'm gonna burst out laughing, and that's just so wrong.
One of those
guys.
It's too late. I have it in my head.
She already laughing. She done got herself started.
There you go.
You might as well say what it is now.
True. Can't stop yourself now. Come on.
Her cat was stuck up somewhere, and she was in heels, and she got up on the countertop to try to get in, and she fell. But when she fell, she was like, it fell on her head, and she died. And then the cat got down as soon as she died.
Oh, the Irish. All 9 of her lives were gone.
Oh, and so her boyfriend comes home. They live together, and she's dead. And the caretakers come, and he asked them, "Well, can I have a moment alone with her?" And like, "Oh, sure." They walk out of the room, and he sneaks out the window with her body. He gets in the car, and they take off. And he takes her body to New Jersey, and he goes to different motel rooms with her for 6 nights. He keeps her body for 6 nights, and he imagines her alive, like in his head, she's talking to him and everything. But when we see her, she's just lying there in bed, and he's just looking at TV, doing his thing, and she's just lying there.
Seems,
Sounds like a perfect Valentine's Day movie.
seems I was about to say seems like a very, very tame version of Necromantic and Necromantic 2.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
I haven't even seen
Necromantic.
Necromantic, but I was thinking
She's
that.
too
I was
scared to
thinking,
see it.
I was thinking that. No, I'm not too
Shirley's
scared
too
to see
scared
it. I
to
just
see
didn't
it.
get
And
to
when did I
seeing it
give you
yet.
that movie? You
I'ma
still
watch
haven't
it.
seen it.
I just didn't get to watching it yet, but I'ma watch it. Ain't nothing scares me. The fuck you talking about?
That's true.
First of all, I'ma watch the movie and I'ma eat while watching it. Now what?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Gotta-
Okay.
do something, eat something raw too while you're doing it. Why not? You know, just do
Oh,
it.
why
my
not?
God.
I'll have sushi.
That's right, right. But no, I'll tell you, Necromantic was one of those ones. It's not even really that scary. It's just the subject matter that makes you go.
It's just gross, right?
Yeah, a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
I remember watching both, or I saw both of them, and I actually had two or a sealed copy of each one at one time years ago. But I ended up finding a used one. I watched the first one, and when I got done, I was like, "Well, I got to go take a shower." You know, just that kind of movie. You know, it's like, well, I didn't know there were people out there that liked this. You know,
Phil.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, Phil.
going on film. But yeah, that's definitely one. What about you, Karen? What's one that you would say that you would recommend to
Well,
someone?
now I have to say flowers.
Ah, you bitch.
Directed,
honey.
created by
Brought that
Phil
honey.
Stevens. But a lot of people have seen it now, so I don't know. Second, I would say this movie I watched called Born Dead. It's by Alex Visani. It's actually out there because I think it was released in Italy first. And I watched it here on Tubi. So, but it was a good one too. I really enjoyed it. It's about this girl who's kind of creepy and she's like a photographer, but she like embalms things and ends up, you know, getting a girl that's dead and keeping her. And then this guy connects with her and she doesn't kill him. She kind of kidnaps him. And anyways, they go through it's very gross and disturbing and but not many people have seen it.
No,
I haven't.
Definitely one to write down there myself.
I can't believe it.
It's called Born Dead or
Born Dead.
Nati Morti.
Let me put it on my watch list.
It's by Alex Visani.
Yeah, okay.
I put it on my watch list.
What? Go ahead.
I haven't finished
Yep,
Necromantic
Phil, the
2.
director himself.
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
finally we
second-
dragged him out to one of our live streams.
Yeah.
This is a big moment.
Yeah.
Necromantic 2, I tried to watch it and I passed out. Yeah, I've said that a bunch of times. I did pass out. I couldn't make it. I don't know. I made it through the first film, but I don't understand why I couldn't make it through this. Was it was a woman
Because you're
this
too
time.
soft, that's why.
See, she wants us to eat while we watch these movies, but she doesn't give us any pointers on how to do that.
All you gotta do is chew and swallow the food. Like, damn.
Swallow the food.
That's all you gotta do.
Well, it's like
I
they always
can't
have.
eat anymore. I
They always
cannot
have
eat
those
anymore.
lists. They always have those lists that you watch YouTube or somebody's like, "Oh, most disturbing movies ever," and I'm, you know, this
Yeah.
like 8 or 9 of them. Necromantic.
A lot of times they hype it up, though. I feel like a lot of times they say that the movie not even that disturbing.
No,
They
but
stay saying that.
I think a lot of them they put on that list to just for the gore versus the
Yeah.
thing. Like I think like one of those lists one time I was watching, it was like a top 10, you know, most disturbing movie. You know, aside from the ones that are like the underground ones that you see someone be like, I have this one, and people are like, what the hell is that? I've never seen that before in my life. What is that? Oh, they've only made like 500 copies. You know, not like that. But like the lists of like disturbing, you know, everybody has like on that list. They'll have The Exorcist. They'll have like you know, this one. But I was like, on those, a lot of those lists, I think I have like 7 out of 10 of those that are on that list in my shelf over here. So that's why I'm always like, they're not that disturbed. Hey, you know, I always like to say this little tidbit of information. My wife was 8 8 months pregnant when Green Inferno came out, and I made her go watch it with me in the theaters. Being 8 months pregnant. So yeah, I was like, that's some dedication right there, because that was pretty good. But Green, now if that's one I honestly gotta ask all of you if you've seen it. Green Inferno, Eli Roth, Green Inferno. Has anybody else seen that?
I haven't
No.
The Green Inferno? Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my
It's not
god.
that bad.
No, it's definitely. I mean, it was his homage to,
I've
you know,
reviewed certain movie
Cannibal
series. I
Holocaust
will
and
watch it.
Cannibal Ferox, and all these like ones. And it was.
But those movies are way more hardcore than Green Inferno, though.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, but he couldn't get away with some of the stuff that they got away with in the mid '70s and stuff like that. Now, I mean, the MPAA wouldn't even let them touch half the stuff that are in those original ones. You just can't. You couldn't do it now if you tried. Some of the animal scenes and some of the other stuff in the original ones, you just couldn't. You wouldn't even be close to. But yeah, but Eli, I'll tell you, that's a lot of people. I think of all of his movies, I did like, Green Inferno, but I think I've always been pretty, what was it? The one, what's the one that they're in the cabin in the woods and everybody starts getting that flesh eating.
Cabin
the
Fever.
Cabin Fever.
Yeah, Cabin Fever. Actually, I always said that was, it's kind of cheesy, but I did like it for like his.
It was gross.
It's pretty good. I definitely dig that one. Now I'll tell you, here's another one. Again, it's just these ones that pop into my head, and I don't mean to over talk, but man, that Cabin in the Woods, that one, that is amazing. I love that movie. That's so good. The one, has anybody seen? That's the one that came out recently. Oh, that was, to me, that's how a good, authentic, new style horror movie should be, where there's like a story within a story within a story, and then you see it. I
didn't like it when I first seen it, but it kind of grew on me somewhat. First time I've seen it, I didn't like it.
Nah, you seem like you have a different opinion on that.
No, it's just I felt like it was overhyped.
I liked it. It had like every monster you could think of in that movie. It's like a love letter to horror.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, I think the part I love about it though is at the end when it's like the having to please the god of whatever that whatever it is, and you're just like, oh, that's crazy, that's creepy, because they're like, well, let's just end existence then, instead of living it. It's just a really cool, definitely different take on horror. That was something I really liked about it for sure.
I like that part at the end where they was going through like the elevator or whatever, and there was all these different rooms with all these like horror cliches coming to life or whatever. That was fun. That's probably my favorite part of the movie.
Were you guys big fans of the Cube series?
Yes, I love Cube.
Yeah,
I didn't really watch.
They're making a Japanese version. Usually it's America that remakes Japanese movies, but they're doing a Cube remake in Japan. I want to see it actually.
Actually, that would be interesting, because they usually do things a little bit more hardcore than the Americans do.
But they remake American movies before. They remade the what's that movie? The Hitchhiker or something, when the couple pick up the hitchhiker and he's like a serial killer and he
Oh shoot, I forgot.
There was two versions of that. First one was like back in the 80s or something, and the other one was like in the 2000s. The Hitcher, yeah. There's a Japanese remake of that. I have never seen it, but I know that it like exists. I want to watch it one day.
That's cool. Yeah, that's always good. No, there's just some great ones out there. I mean, how do you guys feel if you've watched any of Eli Roth stuff? Do you like his stuff? Do you kind of dig the Hostels and the everything?
I like his stuff, but I think it's overhyped in terms of how disturbing it is, quote unquote. Because I like Hostel, but I don't think it was that disturbing. Yeah. Remember, like when it came out, they overhyped it like usual, that it was so scary.
You've seen so much stuff too compared to regular people, so I could see that you would think that way about it too, Curly.
No, but back in the time when I've seen Hostel, I've actually haven't seen that much stuff yet, and even then I thought that it was overhyped. Yeah, like I never thought it was that bad. It had a couple of scenes that was gross, like that scene with the eye was gross and stuff, but it just was never that. It wasn't even that original. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what now, Miss Karen?
Uh,
What is it that you? Is there a specific genre that you like? Is there specific titles that you dig? What about you?
I
Out there, real
typically
quiet.
like 70s movies. I like horror, obviously, and supernatural horror is kind of my thing. But I'm really getting into all these really dark, twisted movies from these girls because they send them, and I'm starting to appreciate that. And as I watch
like,
them, a lot of
We
the
brought you
a
to the
lot of
dark side.
yeah.
No other place to
yeah.
be when it comes to horror.
No.
Now,
So I
now
like
she has
artistic
to
stuff. So I like what they like to watch too.
Hmm.
Specific stuff, I don't know. I've been watching. I just did a 3-day Exorcist binge where I had to I did a half-hour review on it, so it was a ton of work and editing. So my brain's kind of fried from it all.
Hmm.
And I tend to dig into the background stuff,
Oh,
how they
all
made
the
the
back,
film, and
Oh, you
all
did
that
a great
craziness.
research on that movie, though.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
all of
It was
the
awesome.
all of the crazy background stuff to Exorcist and how people were hurt and how they were
It's
possessed
amazing.
and
Yeah,
how
I
they were
agree.
that makes that movie that much more scary when you go into the background of it and the things that the people had to deal with and their families and the legacy that it had on people. That to me, that's and like one of the very few people that didn't really get anything attached to them from it, of all people, was Linda Blair. Like, she was the girl, like of the other cast members and crew and things like that. Bad things happened to them, but of the girl who played the possessed person, she was like nothing really major ever. The stories that I've ever heard, nothing really ever came of it for her.
Yeah. And
Well, didn't her movie career kind of ended though from that? Didn't she never like acted all that
Oh,
much after?
she had a lot more movies than that. I actually have
Did
a
she? I mean,
good
I
arc.
know she was in movies, but she was never like,
No, she
how
never
to put it.
skyrocketed, no, but she has
Yeah.
her own little cult following, and I actually have a lot of her films because I was always that was a crush of mine. It was Linda Blair. She was always cute to me. I can't help it. So
in the
but yeah.
makeup.
Oh yeah. Oh well, you was of course no. Just
Oh,
but
I should
no,
show you my Exorcist doll then. I have it
I have
Oh,
somewhere
did you have
around.
one?
I have
Yeah, I haven't unboxed it yet. That's why I
Oh,
don't have it in the
Oh.
background, but I have an
save it.
Exorcist doll.
I have one piece of Exorcist memorabilia. I have a hey Echo. Sorry.
Hi, Echo.
Hey,
Echo, we're
I-
not echoing.
It's true.
Oh,
I have
we are a little bit.
I have a Reagan pop figure that was signed by Linda Blair.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Oh, cool.
Wow, that's something because she's
So you
very
like met
strict.
her, or you just bought it online?
no, it was one that I bought because I was so interested in it. I was like, it's Linda Blair and it's Exorcist. I was like, you can't just, So it's one of the very few autographs that I actually have because I just thought that was like, it was so cool, and it's signed in the slime green that was like that color. So it's
Ooh.
like it's signed by her in the same color that she basically was. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's got
Very
a
cool.
letter, a certificate of authenticity, and all that good stuff. So I was like, it's pretty cool. Definitely one
Plus,
of my.
even movies wise, like she's so hugely famous, probably one of the most famous people on the planet. So even if
To a
things
point, yeah.
didn't work for her, I mean, come on,
Yeah, I mean, you're
massive.
you're the demon
Right.
that walked backwards down the stairs. How can you escape that? I mean, come on, one of the greatest movie scenes of all time. And how many other people on the planet on film when they were like 13 got to say fuck your mother with the thing. I'm just saying.
I wish I could do that.
I mean, they're just saying it's just, that's crazy. But that, I'll tell you, that's another one. I'm glad you brought that up, the Exorcist, that you did that. You can watch it and still be taken aback by it even to this day. I mean, again, some of the cinematography techniques, the just the lines, everything else too. I mean, if you were to see that, and I think it was, don't get me wrong here, was it 74 or 73 it came out?
3.
And I thought I was pretty close on that one. I mean, that was, put yourself back in a teenager or a person's body then to go sit in the theater and go watch that. You wouldn't know what to think afterwards. I mean, you'd be like, you'd turn on every light. You'd be,
It was especially creepy too, because back then, I was a kid back then, and they didn't have the rating system that they do now. So anybody could go see anything. Nobody cared. Your parents would be like, oh, You're 12. Oh, you're going to see The Exorcist? Have fun, dear.
Yeah.
I miss those times.
And
You
so,
know,
yeah.
I'll be 42 this year, and you know, so I'm getting up there too. But I know when it comes to, you know, again, talking, you know, just thinking about the movies that even we saw when some of our buddies had older brothers, and they had, like, you know, Cinemax real late at night and HBO real late at night, and you stayed over at somebody's house, you're like, oh, what's this? What are we watching now? You know, and there was that thrill of seeing something that you weren't supposed to be seeing. And now,
Right.
I mean, obviously kids probably have that nowadays, but there's nothing like, you know, I mean, with the internet, it's so instantaneous. There's no having to wait. There's no anticipation. You just click on a button, go, oh, I saw that now. What's that all about? I mean, I think one of the best things I'm really into stand-up comedy too. I love stand-up comedy. I think one of the greatest things I ever heard was one of the guys said, he's like, I think I hate about the internet is, he said, back in the 80s and 90s, if you had a question that no one had the answer to, that's the answer. The person that gave you the answer was like how you met your spouse, you know, because you could go weeks and months without knowing the answer to that. And you're like, because the one guy said, he goes, where was Tom Petty born? And you'd have that question for 6 months, and then you'd run across somebody and be like, where was Tom Petty born? Oh, he was in Florida. Like, oh, awesome, cool. Like, that's been stuck in my head for so long, you know. But now with that instantaneous, just being able to get anything on a whim, it's not the way it used to be. I mean, waiting around for something or in line for something, you know. Some people do that still now, but I mean, you know, just a whole different environment.
Right.
You know, so, but that's cool though. That's cool that you did a deep dive into that. I mean, I think it's really neat when people do deep dives into movies that, I remember these things.
I remember. Yes, Lord. I remember those too. I miss them. I don't use them anymore. I download books on a Kindle now. I don't remember last time I bought an actual book, but like I miss actual books.
Oh yeah. I mean, I my senior year, now of course I only read it in free period, so I'm not a fast reader, but it took me a whole year to read The Stand. That was one of the
That's
greatest.
a huge book.
It's a great book, you know, and it's a great book. And I was a Stephen King fan from way back. And actually,
I
think
love Stephen King.
of all the books, or, you know, Skinamax. That's right.
Skinamax. Now
you
look so innocent there.
Oh, I know. Now today's standard. I tried to skipping real quick, tangenting real quick. I told somebody about it. I was like, we used to watch when I was a teenager. We'd have to watch the Scramble channel to see if we saw anything. But I think I saw something. People go now. They go,
oh my god, yeah.
What are you talking about? Scramble channel. I was like, oh, that's right. You don't know what I'm talking about. And I was like, I'm old enough to remember when channels went off the air. I mean, I grew up seeing. I saw the
right.
I mean, how many times did I stay up? One of my favorite programs of all the time, me and my dad still talk about this to this day, was USA Up All Night. That was one of my favorite programs ever.
Yep.
You know, with what was her name? Oh gosh,
Sandra Bernhardt.
She was one of
whatever
them.
Her name
and then
was.
the other one was I swear it starts with an R. It'll come to me. But whatever, you know. But it was a great one, and I still remember watching one time. It was I think the Toxic Avenger was on one night that they played, and my dad had come home from second shift, and I was the only one up, and he watched it with me, and we waited till the end, and then, of course they played the national anthem and all that stuff, and I think I was like 15 or 16 at the time, and he looked at me and goes, why'd we stay up and watch that? And I was like, because it was on.
Because
it's, you know. But no, back to Stephen King. I think one of my little favorite little novellas of his, and I still to this day think it was made into a movie there too, is Cycle the Werewolf, that was turned into Silver Bullet. But the Cycle the Werewolf book is so good.
So good.
Rhonda Shear, that's who it was. Rhonda Shear.
Yeah,
yes,
that's a good.
Yes, because she
thanks,
was.
Dan.
Yeah, she had the large assets, if you will, that as a teenage boy, I was like, hey, there's Rhonda. That's, you know, but you know, no, that was a great program. But again, kids nowadays, I think everything like the gentleman just put on. I think it was what was saying about just the access to everything. It just makes it doesn't help. You know, everything. Yeah, it's just a little too easy. We had to wait for a year from it. That's right. You know, when you saw something, you might have saw it in the theater, and you're like, I really want to go see that again, but I don't have the money to go see it again in the theater. Now I got to wait until it comes out. You know.
Yep.
you know, but yeah, that's definitely from a different era, from a different time, you know, talking to young kids and so late night back in the day and how it earned it. That's right, you know, because once 1 o'clock hit, you're like, oh, what's on?
I remember those days.
Who used to watch Red Shoe Diaries and sneak and watch it?
Yep. Hey, that's one. Yeah, definitely one. Oh my gosh, but I think I'm old enough to also remember too. My buddy, we would go over to my older brother's best friend's house, and he had Cinemax, HBO, all that stuff. And we would back when TV Guide was a thing, you could look in the back of the TV Guide, and all it would say next to a movie was not rated, and there would be nothing else next to it. It was like, oh, gotta watch this. I have no idea. Gotta watch that one. And then you'd stay up so late and you'd watch and go, the hell did we just watch? Why did we stay up and watch that? Ridiculous. You know, that's for sure. But yeah, so always lots of good stuff. And now when it comes to back to collecting, what do you guys have a lot of personal? I mean, I see your DVDs back there. Do you guys have your own personal collections of stuff that you keep, or not really physical media type people, or just kind of digital?
Curly streams.
Yeah, I mostly watch stuff on digital because, well, reasons. But I do kind of want to start collecting physical media again, but for right now, I mostly just stream.
It makes sense.
But I know that there's a lot of benefits to having the movie actually like owning it, you know, because like you actually own it and you have it. Like we was talking about before we went live, if the movie stops being streamed, like you never gonna see it again, but you might have the physical copy, and that shit's some valuable ass shit. So you know.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing that I've often felt is just the idea of owning a copy of something, and then having the physical copy of it. Now these are I want to show you real quick. This is couple of my grails. There's the Book of the Dead, Evil Dead.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that it's still sealed, and it wasn't. There's number 1, and then that was the first one. And they made a second one too with that, and this one actually has the eye that still screams.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so that's definitely some of my stuff. But yeah, here's my I gotta give me a second here. I don't want stuff to fall, but this is a portion of my out of print like kind of stuff. This is like almost everything. Print or didn't remake it, but that's just the one. But here's the
you should do a YouTube channel and you could show people stuff. I love watching those kind of videos.
This is my out of print closet. Everything in here.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's almost everything in there. There's some pieces in here that when I show people, they just go, I've never heard of that before, and I was like, you should look this one. And then they look up and they go, oh my God, I didn't know it was like, yeah, it's because no one knows. Like they're just pieces that, you know, will be forever, like, you know, lost to time and things like that. Yeah. Vinegar Syndrome, Severin. Those are all companies that are these, I want to say like these boutique label that then have, oh, thank you. Lots of OPs. Yes, definitely a lot of, you know, different things in there, but it's not just one genre. It's a lot of just a little bit of everything. But that's why I love the physical media aspect of it for sure. Just having something in case it does go out of print, you'd be like, oh, I got one of those, you know. But also gives you a chance to watch just a goodly amount of just other stuff that you might not be accustomed to watching too, you know.
Right. Do you rewatch a lot of stuff, Curly?
Yeah, definitely. Even like stuff that I stream, there's certain movies that I stream a lot. Like I just rewatch them over and over. Yeah. Like on Netflix, I have a lot of go-to movies.
Collecting is really good for that because I used to think like you two way back. Oh, I'm not going to bother because I don't need. But then when they start going out of print, you can't get them anywhere. You're like, why didn't I buy that when I saw it?
Then the price of, and then like the price of them, but then the fact is a lot of these ones, a boutique label will pick them up, like he was saying, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, Titans of Cult, all these ones that are really great companies. But if you don't want to shell out the $40 or $50 that it's going to cost you to get them even reprinted, that's the whole thing. I mean, it becomes like a little addiction, because you're like, I don't have the money for that, but I really want it. And then you save up for it and you finally get one. So, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Pardon me, ladies. I'm just pouring myself a little drink here.
It's good.
Cool. I'm about to pour myself a little one. I had the drink finished. And I gotta chill because I gotta go to work tomorrow in the morning, so I'm not trying to drink too much today. But that seems reasonable.
That well, of course it's reasonable, and cheers to you, ladies, there for sure.
My tolerance is pretty high, so
I'm just glad. I know. Can honestly say I know my wife's just glad that I'm talking someone else's ear off instead of hers, because she's probably like, think someone else can have you for a while, because I don't want to hear it anymore,
Oh God.
But, no, it's that the whole thing though is like I just love that whole idea too. Was always my thing, was always not just owning a movie, but was also the tangibility of it. If someone hadn't seen it, you could be like, here, watch it. Instead of like that, the whole like having to search for it on streaming, or somebody might like, here, borrow it, enjoy it, just give it back when you're done. Right. That kind of thing. And that's always been my, and the other aspect is just the OCD part of me, just wanting to collect something too, just be like, oh, I have one of those, but
it's funny. Back when movies was on VHS, I used to collect movies all the time. Then when DVDs came around, I hated DVDs for the longest time. I was like, damn, they're replacing my VHS tapes. Motherfuckers.
but when on VHS tapes, if you keep on playing them, they mess up. That's what pissed me off.
That's true.
Start coming off.
There's but I'll tell you where, and
I guess it's just the nostalgia.
I literally was just about to say, there's that nostalgia feature that so many people have, and the thing I love is following a lot of the VHS connoisseurs on Instagram, and you get to see their basements. They have them set up like old video rental stores, and I'm always like, awesome. I'm so jealous. That is so cool that every night you get to go down there and be like, oh, this is my store down here. I can just go pick something. Where I just come over here to my shelf and be like, well, I've got 400 movies and I've got nothing to watch. So, what I mean? But that's always my thing. So I've talked to so many people about that, and just, that's another thing too. You end up having such a collection, and you have so many movies. You're like, I want to go back and rewatch that one, or you will. And you don't feel the same about it. Like that was another thing too. You have it in your collection, and you rewatch it, but you don't feel the same that you got to try to get on the titles. So I guess yes, that's true. But it isn't. Yeah. But no, like there's so many in my collection that I watched once and I was like, I really like that, and then I'd go back and put it in a second time, and I'd be like, I'm bored. What was it about this first that I really liked?
Happened to me so many times.
What was it that caught my attention the first time? Was it a hype from someone else? Was it the artwork? Was it this, that, and the other? And you pump yourself up to watch it, and you go, oh, I'm gonna watch it. And then you're like, I don't know if I ever want to watch that again. But then there's the ones that are the sleeper ones that somebody said you really should watch this. And then you put it in and you go, oh my God, I really like that one. Like that was. I think one of the ones that like sleeper films, if you were to me, one that got me was always Event Horizon. Event Horizon was one of those ones that zero or little expectation going into it, and then when you watch it, like, this is really good. Like, at least me personally, that was really really good.
I think it's because a lot of people like shit talked it when it first came out. It was received poorly for whatever weird reason. Because it's a great movie. I don't know why it was received so poorly. For a
sci-fi horror thriller, if you will, it's got elements of all three of them. Another one. See, there was another one too that I've tried to go back and watch. Actually, I've gone back and watched it, and I'm like, okay, but was Ghost Ship. Ghost Ship was one of those ones where you're like, it's got that opening beginning, and you're just like, oh, it's so good. You see all these people get cut in half, and that thing go through. What's up?
I trashed that.
Hey.
But it's such a good beginning, and then you're like, just fizzles out the
Yeah.
right way through, and you're like, oh, come on, Oh, Event Horizon.
I mean, it has its moments.
Yeah. Oh,
I like how they use the soundtrack in that one.
Yes.
Like, just really hypes up certain scenes.
Dude, Mudvayne. So many guys. So that Mudvayne on that soundtrack is so good. But yeah, that's definitely a good one. Yeah, your idea. Okay, I can see that. I really can. I mean,
it has, people say it has one of the best opening scenes ever.
Oh, definitely, without
true.
question. I mean, with the amount of the ways that people are taken out, that's pretty dope. Just the wire going for everybody. I gotta admit. But yeah, no, it's always funny when somebody asks about the collection. They're like, well, what had you start collecting? I was like, it was the bug. I was like, I had the VHSs, and then I remember back in '99, I was out in there you go. I was out in college. It was '99. I went to culinary school right after high school, and and was out in Pittsburgh. And when I wish Ghost Ship was a real career, that would be cool. But I was out there, and this was '99. And one of my buddies that I went to high school with, he went to school in Pittsburgh too, but he went to a different school, and he was out there. I was like, oh man, let's hang out. And his roommate had a PC that had a DVD player in it. He was like, have you heard of this? And I was like, oh, what's a DVD? And he showed me, he's like, oh, movie on a CD. And I love when he hit pause. And I was like, where are the lines? Where are the lines? Like, that freaked me out. He goes, watch when it fast forwards and watch when it rewinds. I was like, oh, it's like seamless. And I'm like, I was hooked. I was like, that's that I saw that. I was just like, I need to own everything on DVD. I mean, I remember one of the very first horror movies that I picked up on DVD, and I still have my copy. I never got rid of it. Was the Cannibal Ferox was one of those. But then I also grabbed American Psycho. I still have my original copy of that, and just I got hooked. That was like I still try to tell people, I was like, my first DVD player cost me $250. That's how long ago I've had it, since I've had one. But that was it. But now you go like, oh, DVD player, they're like $13 at Walmart.
Oh, I used to have one of those. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a DVD player that's connected to like the little screen. It's not like to the TV, but it's like a portable. Yeah, one of those. I used to have that. I used to love that thing.
Yeah.
I had one of those too. The Xbox.
I have one too.
One of those. Yep.
Mine just randomly broke one day. Like, it just stopped working. I was so sad.
Yeah, that's definitely. And now, it's like when I was one of those people when Blu-rays and HD came out, people forget there was another little, competing with Blu-ray was HD at the time that was out.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, so this is the progression. It goes from VHS to DVD to, but now, there's so many people getting into that 4K movement or the Ultra HD, and I'm like, I can't get into it. And the only reason
I can't either.
I can't get into it because now there's only like, I only own like 3, like the out of the five Ultra HDs that I own, 4 of them are still sealed, and I'm not opening any of them, just for price and for collectability. But it's not that big of a leap. Like, it's just, you're just being able to put more, I can see somebody's pockmark now, and that I didn't want to see to begin with. Like, there's got to be a little mystery left in it. I don't want to see all that. But I think that leap in technology from VHS to DVD was just it was great, and it was outstanding. But I will always have that love of VHS though. Just then the nostalgic factor, that walking into the rental place and sneaking into the back the room and be like, oh, look at all these, like, I want to rent that one. I want to rent that one. Yeah, so many old school covers that I looked at when I was a little kid. I was like, I want to rent that. I think if anybody had a store like that they frequented, I know the horror section in this one store that I always went to, there was a big box. Remember that some of those old, they called them the big box VHSs. Like, they were mostly horror ones that were like way bigger than the original boxes. The one that I always saw, the cover that I always thought was neat was called like Raw Meat, and it had this guy with this big hook. It was like the pieces were hanging down and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I was always too little to watch that. And by the time I got to be an adult, that's when DVDs were out and stuff like that, and I go pick out whatever I want. But that whole like idea of just walking in there and be like, oh, look at that, something that you couldn't get.
Adam, I still have a video store.
Nice. That's awesome.
Like
That
is
walk
really
away.
cool.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's very cool. Like there's just so many pieces that I saw back in the day that I always wanted to just be like, oh, do you have one of those? Do you have one? You know, now I look at it, and some of those big box horror, you know, the money that people are paying for those is unbelievable. Like they're, you know, especially if it has all, like, you know, the box and everything's good. I mean, people are paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for those. When I remember back in 98, 99, when some of the stores were shutting down, you go pick those up for 25 cents a piece because people were just getting rid of them. And I was like, I wish I would have now, you know?
Yeah.
So you actually have a real legitimate store, like a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Privately owned. I know the owner, and he was on the show actually a month or 2 months ago. And yeah, he's got like 12 or 15,000, no, something like that titles.
Nice.
Everything you could imagine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really
That's
fun.
really
And he does
cool.
like a weekly 5 for 5. So
Mm.
we go there often and pick up 5 movies and just randomly watch and bring them back. Like, it's super close to where I live too. So really fun.
Nice. Or is everybody on the East Coast? Are all of you on East Coast? Okay.
I'm in British Columbia.
Oh, wow. There you go. Okay. Cool.
Where are you?
I'm in Georgia. I live in Georgia. Yeah.
Wow, we're all over the place.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
cool.
East Coast. Where's everybody else? If you don't mind me asking, where's everybody else from?
Oh, I live in New York.
Texas.
Oh, there you go.
I live in
And
Texas.
did you say Texas? Oh, there you go. Texas.
Mhm.
That's yeah, just all over the place. Now, I'll tell you, I've heard that a lot of the other countries, Canada being one of them, have always, it seemed like, stayed with some of the other technology. Like I know some people from the UK and stuff that they still have radio rental stores and, you know, stores like that. It's like, that's crazy. Like we like, seems like here in the States we were like, just get rid of it. We want something new. We want, there's so many people that love that nostalgia factor that if you brought these places back, that I think that they would go over like, you know, hotcakes at this point, because enough people really dig that side of the collecting and being able to go rent. I mean, how many of us remember growing up, Friday night was the best, walking into this video store, standing there for a half hour, 45 minutes, deciding what you're going to rent. You know, It was some of the best.
Trash Stash is saying, I still have a video store out here, and they tried to charge me $10 for returning a movie a day late, so I stopped going there.
That would be.
Sucks, man.
I was going to where I have a
You should do a
Blockbuster.
video.
I was an assistant manager of a Blockbuster for a while. I'm not proud of that, but that was one of my. I actually worked at a Blockbuster because I was such
That's
a big
cool,
movie.
though.
Yeah, you know, it was what it was, but the idea of being able to, you know, work there and then rent free basically whatever you wanted, that was the dopest part, you know. And that actually got
work at the movie theater so bad. That was
Right.
that never happened. I would have,
Because you watch movies for free.
Yeah. It's true, and that was always it was nice to have a couple friends who worked the ticket booth at some local, and we'd just walk up there and then slide them right to you and be like, thank you, appreciate it, that's awesome. You know,
nice.
Get to go in and watch whatever you want. Yeah, I actually was wondering that earlier. You mentioned growing up when you did, and I was wondering if I was going to be the baby here tonight, and I was like,
Oh, you're asking how old?
oh
Yeah.
no, I'm
How old
just
do you think I am?
look. I was going to say everybody in this room's 29. I know that. So that's why.
Well,
No, nobody here is 29, dude. I wish.
No, I
I'm
just
a little
know.
older than you, a little.
All right, no, I have a buddy.
I guess I'm the baby here.
Hey, I have a buddy. A couple days ago, he just turned 50, and I was like, "How's it feel to be a half century old?" And he was like, "Kind of there." He's like, "I'm feeling it.
There
Yeah.
are always people that are older than you. That's what
Yes.
my mom always said.
Of course.
There's
That's
always
true.
people that are older. No, I'm 53.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm 53.
Oh, nice. Rock on. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah,
I'm proud of it. I don't.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got.
I mean, you don't even look it, so
no, not at all. Are you kidding me?
Definitely not.
Yeah,
I've-
always
I've-
looked younger.
Yeah, I've had enough. I've had enough people when I tell them I'm like 42. I'm going to be 42. They're like, what? I was going to. They were like, I would have said early 30s. I was like, I didn't have kids until my early 30s. The gray started coming in real soon after that. Like that's.
Oh
when
God, I have grays too.
The kids bring out the white and the gray. You know, because kids, as I've always said, kids have that magical ability to turn a situation from "Are you kidding me?" to "God fucking damn it!" Like that's what kids have that magical ability to do. You know,
They just age you, huh?
a little bit, yeah, a little bit. You know, when sleep,
Tomorrow's Mother's Day.
what's that?
Tomorrow's Mother's Day.
Oh, that's right. Happy Mother's Day to
Oh,
all
is
of you
it?
who are
Oh, happy Mother's Day, Karen. I think you're the only
happy
mother
Mother's
here.
Day.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mother's and happy Mother's
Happy
Day.
Mother's Day to your wife too.
Oh yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
No,
Do you have two or just one?
Two. Yeah, I got a 6-year-old and a 14-month-old.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Oh.
Sleep is one of those things that is just very slim anymore. So that's why I try to enjoy the things that I enjoy, because I'm like, yeah, I'll be up in about 3 hours anyway, so no big deal, you know.
Mine's 13. It gets easier.
Yes, no,
Then you worry about where they are.
That's right. That's my 6-year-old sleeps way better than my 13-month-old. That's for sure, because he loves his sleep just like his mom. But the little ones like me, I can hear a fly fart in the other room, and I'm like, what's going on? Like that's me. But yeah, no. So like, what when it comes to now I gotta ask, because I know when it comes to me, does anybody what's up, Nye? What's funny? What?
Why Nye dying over there? What the fuck? Let us in on a joke, yo.
Come on.
Curly's making me laugh every time she.
What? What the fuck?
Hey,
I'm just drinking my drink. Like, I'm not doing anything.
Are you drinking, Nye?
Hey, cheers to you. Gotta throw.
No, Nye don't drink. You know she don't drink. She just naturally like drunk or whatever. She don't need to drink.
You gotta figure if you're that bubbly.
Like the hell, I'm just casually sipping on my wine over here. I know I don't have a proper wine glass, but whatever.
Hey, it's okay. You know, I think you. Hey,
Oh God.
When they have taps on the boxes now, you just hold the box up and put the tap right there, right to your, you know, that's.
Oh, that's what's bothering you. I could take it off, I guess. Shit.
Now, when it comes
Never thought about it.
Now, do a lot of you guys, when it comes to, now you said, Karen, you of course you like the 70s type stuff. Curly, Nye, is there any particular genre, subgenre of ones that you try to, you know, tell people about that you like, that you really like, try to get people to, hey, if you're really into that, try something here?
Probably it's between the 70s and the 1950s.
That's a good
I'm
job.
into that. Yeah.
Kind of very good, very good. What about you, Curly? Is there anything in particular, just a certain across the board, or just?
Well, I like a little bit of everything, to be honest, but I have a thing for like 90s and early 2000s horror. I think it's more of like a nostalgia factor because I was a kid in the 90s and growing up in the 2000s or whatever. However old I was in the 2000s. Yeah, so just brings back certain memories, I guess.
Oh, it's good. It's
So,
good stuff. No,
yeah, I like those.
That's very cool. Yeah, I'm one of those people that, you know, I say I grew up in the 80s, but I was 8, 9 in the 80s. I mean, that was that, you know, I was born in 80s.
Right.
So I grew up in the 90s myself. So, you know, the thing is, a lot of that stuff, but, you know, a lot of people always talk about the slashers and the Freddys and the Jasons and stuff like that. Those never appealed to me like at all. I mean, they're good. And don't get me wrong, they have their very they have their own brand. That's, you know, I think of all of them. I mean, of all the slashers, I'm a Michael Myers fan. I mean, Jason and Freddy, they have their place and everything like that. But I know I might be talking blasphemy here to the people that love their slashers, but the slashers didn't do anything.
Here's what I think, because I grew up in the 70s, so I had like Amityville. No, sorry, what's from the 70s? Anyway, 70s movies. And then when the 80s came out and those slashers came out, I'm perplexed that there's so many sequels and things made from them, and people are so obsessed with them, because when they came out in the 80s, we watched one, and by the second or third we were like, yeah, okay, they're making another one. I'm not, you know, watching that. So I'm really amazed by that. But at the same time, it's kind of neat that younger people now are kind of looking back over that and revitalizing it. So, but I hear you. They're not necessarily my favorites either. Not that they're bad.
No, and that's the whole thing. I've always explained to people. I said it had its market. Absolutely, it had its market. I mean, some of the greatest franchises of all time. I mean, for Nightmare on Elm Street. My God, Freddy is great. He's
That's
great.
iconic.
Jason, he's a great character. Michael Myers is a great character. But I mean, the idea of just some of these really, again, the sequel after sequel after sequel, and you sit there and go, I am just not, yeah, give me a minute here. I mean, the wife's like, "Are you done? Give me a minute."
That
all
happened
right.
to me with Saw.
I'm gonna have to
get the trash stashes thing. That have to be with Saw. Yeah, same kind of thing. After that time, I don't know. I just don't. I like the first movie, maybe the second, and then that's it for me.
I like the third Saw actually a lot. I think it's really good. But after the third Saw, which spoiler alert, but by this point I think everybody knows. Once the guy got killed, the Jigsaw, and they kept making Saw movies, it just got old real quick. Like the guy is dead now, but you're still making those movies.
The movie, yeah.
Like he died, but you're running it to the ground.
Trash stash.
Yes, the dentist.
Dentist, yeah.
Have you watched that, Adam?
Yeah, that's
The
definitely
dentist.
Yeah, I know my little one's the one that keeps waking up. I apologize if I may have to cut this just a little short.
Okay.
He's
that's
just
okay.
he's
That's
not.
all right.
Yeah, he's one of those ones that got the head. He got the head cold right now, and the littlest thing kind of keep him up. But no. I appreciate I appreciate you ladies just having me on. It's such a blast just being able to chat with people about things and trying to get away from where the noise went down the hall. But yeah, those were some of the ones though that like there was the slasher ones were just not, and I always liked some of the independent slasher ones, the ones that didn't have like any true character. Like I love the Prowler is a great 80s.
Yes,
I
had that movie.
So good. That's one of those ones. High body count, cool, cool deaths, things like that. But no, again, my love for horror was when I was 8 years old. I had to have a surgery on my neck, and I was in there over Halloween, and on TV they played the original Night of the Living Dead, and I watched that, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So that's definitely what started my love for horror. And then like a year or so after that, I saw Alien for the first time, and I was like, this is awesome, so creepy. But the original, the original Night of the Living Dead, and then Dawn of the Dead, which is definitely my all-time favorite.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I love that too when he freaks out and he's like, extract. I want everyone to extract. Remember that? That always cracked me the fuck up. He pull out everybody's teeth.
Almost reminds me that like when I stayed at the dentist there, almost reminds me of Dr. Giggles too. Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles.
I rewatched The Dentist around the time I was going to the dentist a lot, so like it was very triggering to me to watch it.
Yeah, I remember watching Dr. Giggles. I was like, this is creepy. Like, there's doctors like that.
Oh, I still gotta watch that.
I can't believe you haven't seen Dr. Giggles. I
haven't seen it.
I saw that when I was 9 years old.
Well, I haven't seen it. Here you go, a movie that you've seen that I haven't seen. Aren't you happy?
She hasn't seen Man Bites Dog either.
Hey, I haven't seen that
for the
either.
first time.
Yeah, I put it on my list. I gotta watch that.
I know enough
it's
about
on my list.
to enjoy. I know enough about it to know what I'd be getting into to watch it. So I definitely want to check it out. It's one of those ones.
See, like one of the reasons I haven't watched Man Bites Dog was because I watched somebody's spoiler YouTube video on it. So like I waited to forget what the video was about, so that like when I watch it, the movie is not spoiled for me. But I don't remember what the video was about now, so I think it's safe for me to watch it now.
Yeah,
I can get it. Oh, hey,
Anthony.
Hey.
Better late than never. That's right.
Okay. Yeah. Give me 1 second. When you're done, come grab them. Okay. Give me 1 second here. I'll actually do that. Yeah, give me 1 second, ladies. I promise I'll be right back.
Sure.
Yeah.
2 seconds here. There we go. Yeah.
Well, I can't freak Adam out. Last time since we were having technical problems, I couldn't ask the girls if they had seen Necromantic, and we've already talked about Necromantic. So Adam's seen everything, so there's nothing to freak him out about.
Well, that's good.
I just forgot that we haven't had an echo.
Yeah.
No, because we're all wearing headphones. See, headphones was the problem. That was the thing. Because last time when we had all those echo problems, Nye was the only one with headphones, I think. So that's why. So now we all have headphones. I don't know. I still kind of hear the echo, but maybe I just hear it on my headphones because it seems like you guys are not hearing it.
I can't hear
But it's not.
Just sound loud.
Oh, all right. Well, it's not bad though. So.
No.
It's not bad. It's just like a very light echo, but I definitely hear it. But it's nowhere near like last time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's no crickets and robotic sounds or anything like that. No weird playback sounds, nothing like that. So yeah.
Peter Gills was played by the weird-looking mofo from Dark
Yes, Larry Drake.
Which one?
Larry
The boss
Drake.
from the Dark Man? The bad guy? Or which one? I know not Liam Neeson.
I haven't seen Dark Man. I know Larry
You've
Drake
never
was
seen
in
it?
Dark Man. I've never seen it, but I know Larry Drake was in Dark Man. Larry Drake
I am
played
so
Dr. Giggles.
shocked. You've never seen Dark.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I'm so shocked.
Are you gonna?
I think it's on Shutter currently.
Okay, I'll watch it.
I'm not too for sure, but I think it might be on there.
I need to watch. I mean, it's been on my
Yeah,
list. I just haven't gotten to it. It's like three of them in it.
Yeah, but only watch the first one because they like recast Liam Neeson, and after that it just went really whack. Well, in my opinion, anyway. I think it just was really weird.
Okay.
My thing is, I can't really get into movies once they recast the lead actor. I just can't really comprehend it. He plays the same character, but it's a different actor. So for me, it breaks the immersion in the movie.
Thanks, Anthony, for stopping
Yay.
by.
Oh, thanks, Anthony. Thank you.
Larry Drake was the boss in Dark Man.
Okay, so he was the boss guy. Okay.
Yeah, we would love it.
Well, thank you, ladies, for being
Hey, also watch
kind.
it.
Appreciate you being so kind there. What do you? Yeah, the bad guy from Darkman. That's right. That was Dr. Giggles. So now when it comes to older-ish, horror too, and again going back to remakes, you always talk about remakes, but I'm an original guy all the way through. Do you guys like the original Wicker Man with Christopher Lee?
I haven't seen the Wicker Man.
I haven't seen it.
No, I'm shocked again.
No. I gotta be with Curly here and just go. I've never seen it.
Curly's seen 5,000 movies.
The original.
So did you, Nye.
Yeah, the original one is so good. Like, I mean, the Nick Cage one doesn't even hold a candle to it.
Oh, I love the Nick Cage one though. I'm gonna fight you on that one.
It's it's Nick Cage. What do you see?
As bad as it is, I enjoy it. Like I watched it so many times. The Nick Cage one.
Yeah, the original one just has that like, so crazy.
Shit. Okay, bad news, guys. I was just informed in my wireless headphones that my battery is low. So any minute now, my wireless headphones gonna die. So most likely we're gonna have echo.
Oh no!
And I charged it too before the stream. I guess I didn't charge it enough.
We've been on for an hour and a half.
Right. Well, I'm just telling you all. If you're here echo all of a sudden, that's why. Because my headphones had died. But they're still going for now. But they're gonna die any minute now because I was just told that battery's low. So.
What? My apologize if I'm talking the whole time because I can sit and talk movies all day every day and
it's just cool. We like hearing you talk.
Oh, I appreciate it. I do. I know I've watched some of the other streams where there's been some silence, and I'm like, I wish I was there because I could jump in and say something.
Yeah, I hate those streams. Like that's like awkward silence, the crickets. I always want to jump in, but sometimes
Is there, if between all of you, is there a do you have a favorite director? Do you have is there somebody that you could say is the one that you follow? You have either you followed their whole canonical from when they started to when anybody like that?
I like
Why?
John
Phil
Carpenter.
Stevens is our favorite director, of course. What you talking
Of course.
about?
I mean aside from
Yeah, like Phil Stevens, the only one.
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I didn't, of course I knew that, with him being here.
No, but honestly though, also Takashi Miike, as Nye corrects me on that
Takashi
one, but
Miike,
I
that's
googled it. It said Miike on Google, so
Yeah.
Cam, I like Sion Sono or
Mhm.
Sion Sono. I don't know what's the correct pronunciation for that one is. Darren Aronofsky. And Jordan Peele.
Holy
Jordan
Mountain.
Peele, of course. I love Jordan Peele, even though he's like new. He hasn't made that many movies yet,
Yeah.
but I love his movies.
I've never seen Holy Mountain or Santa Sangre, and I have Santa Sangre on my. It's on my counter.
I've seen both.
I literally have Santa Sangre sitting right on my counter over there, and it's a 2-disc special version. I've just never put it in.
Yeah,
but like
both are really good. Both are
Mhm.
really good, but Holy Mountain is like really weird.
Yeah, they said.
Well, Santa Sangre is too, but
they
Holy
said that
Mountain is like
his style is just super bizarre, just very bizarre. Yeah,
so
like
true.
I had to ask because I love George Romero because that has something to do with me being from Pennsylvania originally and him being a local celebrity, but the whole the whole zombie genre, if it wasn't for him kind of starting. I mean, I know that there were zombie films back in the 40s and 50s, like they had zombies, but they didn't have people eating people on screen. That's kind of like one of those things that just really kind of hits you home too. But I liked his work, and I can honestly say we didn't live that far from the Monroeville Mall where the Dawn of the Dead was filmed, and I got to go to it so many times when I was a little kid. I was like, there was zombies eating people in here. That's awesome. Like all the stores and stuff like that. But yeah, he's definitely a favorite for sure. And Argento and Fulci and all those guys are guys I could just sit and just talk about for hours and hours and hours. How some of the editing in those movies is just so bad. Like they're just, but it was 70s. It is what it is. But the editing techniques and the continuity errors that happen in all those 70s movies are so bad. Like you're like, what? Just why did that change from that to that all of a sudden? Oh, it is.
Yeah, I agree with the
Okay.
Ice Lord.
Yeah.
It is hard to like really, really narrow it down. It's hard to narrow it down if somebody asks you what your favorite movie is too. I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's
It's a lot.
so tough.
Yeah, I like Carpenter too. He's one of my favorites.
Oh
Dancing, John Carpenter.
The Serpent and
Like
the
the
Rainbow.
offbeat stuff. Prince of Darkness. Then.
Did Carpenter did Serpent and the Rainbow? Was that
No, that was Wes Craven.
Oh, that's right. That's Wes Craven. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
That was for Wes Craven was one
Yeah,
of
it's
those
a good
movies I was
movie
like,
though.
yeah, he did that, and Last House on the Left, the original. I mean, the first time you see that, you just kind of go, "What is this about?" It's kind of a very that's a first time. Oh, speaking of, okay, here's one. Let me ask you this. This is a great question. I'm sorry, Nye. What is and Karen? My apologies. Did you guys have favorite directors? I want to go back to that.
Yeah, I said.
You want to go, Karen?
What about you? You.
I have 3: Argento,
Good stuff.
David Lynch, and John Carr. Y'all never heard of John Carr, but I'll introduce you to him in my show.
Okay.
Why that name sounds familiar to me? I'm sure I've seen a movie
John
by him,
Carr?
but I don't know what it is. Let me Google it because I know I've heard.
David Lynch.
No.
Yes.
Wait, oh,
Yes,
fuck,
because Lost Highway is my favorite movie. I love Lost Highway.
It was so good. I'm a Cronenberg guy too. I like Cronenberg. He's so good. Like just again one of those just like so out there. So just things that you didn't know that you liked until you watched them and you're like, oh, I'm into this. Like when I love when you mention like David Lynch, David Cronenberg, all these types of very just bizarre type movies. I mentioned one time to somebody, I said, have you ever seen Crash? And they're like, oh, that Oscar nominated one. I'm like, no, Like,
Not that
I'm
one.
like, David Cronenberg's Crash, and they're like, what is that about? I was like, do you want me to spoil it for you? Do you want to look it up? They're like, oh, tell me. I'm like, well, do you like sex and car crashes? Like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what it's about. Like, heavily. James Spader's in it, so you know it's going to be good. You know.
Oh wait, is that the one where? No, that's not. I'm sorry, I got confused. No,
Have you heard of a
that's
movie
something.
called Marilyn Alive and Behind Bars?
Can't say that.
Dead Girls Don't Tango.
I have heard of that one.
Hey.
That's a John Carr movie. Those are John Carr movies.
Okay.
Yeah,
I googled the name, but I didn't find anything I recognized. But I don't know why the name sounds so familiar. Like, it sounds familiar, but I googled the name and I didn't see any movies that he directed that I recognize.
It's really weird. There's like no picture of him online.
Or sometimes they put fake pictures.
Does anybody?
For true, like, the director Lucifer Valentine, if you like Google him, they put a completely wrong picture for him.
Well, I think in years past, when directors didn't want to be associated with the movie that they made, they always went under a pseudonym. Like, it was like Al Smith or something like that. I forget what it was. There's like a pseudonym that's out there that so many directors go under when they put out a movie, and they're like, I don't want to be associated with this pile of garbage, But I forget what the name is, but there's one that that was. Does anybody have any? Anybody have any guilty pleasure movies that they would be like, I go back to that one a lot? Anybody have any of those?
There's plenty.
Oh, There's
plenty of embarrassing movies to like.
Mine is Blue Velvet. Mine is Blue Velvet.
Alan Smithy, that's it. That was it. Alan Smithy, that's exactly it. Alan Smithy, that is it. I tried to remember that. I couldn't remember. Alan Smithy is the one that the directors, they put that under when they're like, I don't want to be associated with this anymore. It's so bad. I think my guilty pleasure one, and it's one that I've seen so many times when I just want to turn my brain off and watch something good, is Plan 9 from Outer Space. Old Ed Wood.
Oh my god.
Definitely one of my favorites.
I've never seen
that movie's crazy. That movie's crazy.
Hellraiser 4 is directed by Alan Smithy. There you go. Nice.
I don't think I've ever made it that far into the Hellraiser franchise.
I stopped at 3.
Me too.
3 was good. Actually, I think 3 sometimes is even a little bit better than some of those. What was 3 about? 3 was like almost modern day. Like, at the time, it was like the Cenobites. Like, one of the Cenobites threw CDs out of his head. That was one of his things. Like, it was set in like 95 or like 96 or something like that.
Wait, is that when they had like the statue in the room, the weird looking? Yeah.
It was a good one. I like that one, but of course, the second one's always going to have the first one and the second one are always going to have a place in my heart, because the special effects in the first two are they're so good.
The first one was so good. The second one was good too, but it had a totally different vibe. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've never went that far. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Some of these franchises where they go past 2 and 3, I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, his movies. I've seen only 2 of his movies: The Angel's Melancholy and The Cannibal. And The Angel's Melancholy is so fucking pretentious to me. I'm sorry, I couldn't. I sat through it, but.
Speaking of pretentious, and this is my wife and I first saw it. Dude, the new Batman. Has anybody sat down and tried to watch that yet?
I ain't seen it yet.
We tried. We put it on, and it's not Batman in the way that traditional Batmans are filmed. It's no Christopher Nolan Batman. That's for sure. What it is, and I appreciate it for what it is, but it's like a 1940s noir film, It's very slow. It's very methodical. It's like we got an hour in, and I was like, oh my god, we're an hour in, and we're still talking to the same people we were talking to an hour ago. I mean, I'm not to say that I'm not going to enjoy it, but I found it just been like, come on, can we get going here? I mean, but that's you know.
Do you guys like?
So how was Robert Pattinson as Batman? Sorry.
No, go. That's okay. No,
No,
I hate when
go
everybody
ahead.
talks at the same time. Yeah.
How was Robert Pattinson as Batman? Because I know people
He's
had
good. I
their
mean,
doubts.
because it's a different style of Batman. So you kind of go. It's a very almost methodically played Batman. He's very bitter. He's very kind of angry. It's almost like I kind of dig that portion of him. You know, that I don't care that I have money. I don't care. I want to clean up the streets and this, that, and the other. And I kind of dig that. But no, to get back, Karen, Nye, what are some of your maybe like again guilty pleasure ones? What do you look for
I'm
there?
watching so much of these guys' recommendations. I don't know anymore what my guilty pleasure. I kind of really love all these twisted things. I don't know.
I've seen Blue
I
Velvet.
haven't gone back to watch things that I watch just for fun because I'm working all the time.
Mhm.
I never have a chance anymore.
Blue Velvet's a good one. Blue Velvet's just bizarre to me. I remember watching that the first time, going, so
I
weird.
watch that
Dennis-
all the time. I
Dennis
watch
Hopper.
that so much.
Just Dennis Hopper. Oh, I'm slutty.
I love Dennis
Slutty.
Hopper. I love Dennis Hopper.
Oh yeah, he's very another one of those actors where you just go, what was he? Just very, again, just a different style of actor. I kind of dig him. He was Land of the Dead, Romero's Land. He was the bad guy in that, and that was just a little different. But I also, it's not just horror and stuff. Like I think one of my other guilty pleasure movies, and I love it because it was one I grew up with, is The Princess Bride. I love that movie so much. I love it. It's so good. It's so
I've
good.
never seen it.
Me neither.
Oh my god.
You've never seen The Princess Bride?
That's
Come on.
Nope.
there's
I
so
think
many
you'd like
quotable.
it, actually.
It's not my kind of movie, so I ain't gonna lie.
Exactly. It's not my kind of movie, so like
It's-
I've never watched it.
It's
If it
definitely-
was dark fantasy, I would watch it. But it
Well,
ain't.
Yeah.
okay, speaking
Like
of,
Labyrinth or something.
that's one of the
Yeah.
ones I'd say I've never seen The Dark Crystal or Labyrinth.
Oh,
So-
what? Oh.
No.
They just never. Those were kind of the ones that never really. I mean, I dig them for what they are. Oh, Texas Chainsaw 2 is in that too. That's right. I dig them for what they are, and they have a great. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I like Legend. Legend's a great. I like Legend.
Legend, yes.
Legend's
That is so
cool.
good.
Is that
Tim
with Tom
Curry?
Cru-
With
Tom
Tim
Cruise?
Curry.
Tim
Yeah.
Curry.
Was Tom Cruise in it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's a
I don't
good
like
one.
Tom Cruise.
I mean, neither. I fucking
I
hate
can't
Tom
watch
Cruise.
him. I don't
He
understand.
just irritates me for some reason. He just irritates me.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
no.
that movie's good.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Dark Crystal Labyrinth, I dig what they are for what they are, because there's a huge following for the people that love that type of film, and they are cult classics to this day, and I appreciate that for
Gives
them.
it his all and that only one surprising. What in the legend or whatever that is? Ice Lord said he gives it all in that one surprising. What, Tom Cruise in the legend, or?
I think he mentioned something about Dennis Hopper in one
Dennis
of them
Hopper
too.
in Texas.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise only gives his all when he's fucking running in his movies. I'm sorry.
That's about
Yeah.
it.
That's the best thing he knows to do in his movies, when he goes for that little
Yeah.
jog.
He's
Yeah,
running.
and he's
Yeah,
only
can
Tom
run.
Cruise is never coming on our show.
Oh well. I don't
mean,
think he
well,
was coming before anyway,
No, I
so.
you might have to put a booster seat under him, because you might not be able to see him because he's like 5'9". Yeah.
Stop! No, but actors do their little things on screen all the time. Like Tom Cruise
Oh, yeah.
always runs. Leonardo DiCaprio always does this.
Yes, that's true.
With the glasses.
Are any of you guys big big fans of certain TV series or anything like that, even stuff you grew up with, things
I'm
that
probably
you could
The
go.
gonna get
X-Files.
crucified
The
here.
X-Files.
Yes, X-Files. I grew up with that. I love that show. But
I
as more of an adult, I love Supernatural. That's my show. Like,
yeah.
I fucking love it.
I caught a few episodes of that. I
I
didn't get into it, but I've
uh,
seen some episodes.
I couldn't
years.
get into it at first neither, but then I kind of kept watching it and I got into it. So,
I have to,
Did
I,
they say
yeah.
X-Files, right? Did you
I
say
have to,
X-Files is so good.
oh, that
Okay.
poster. That
X-Files, Tales
so
from the Dark Side, and Tales from the Crypt.
that poster is so dope. I have to show you ladies something that I got years and years and years ago. This would have been back in like 2006, 2005 when they had it out. And I apologize, it's a little dirty, but let's see here. At the time, it was the end all be all for
The truth is out there.
the X-Files huge box set here. Look at this thing.
Oh.
It has all the
Oh.
seasons.
Wow.
Has the movies. It has
Oh.
pull-out box. It has the synopsis of every episode and what they, basically, just everything. Oh, right there. Yeah, there's your poster. Hold on. Come on. Yeah, right there. There's your poster. So, but at the time, and it comes with like it has a comic book in it, poster, everything like that. But yeah, and it's cool.
Anthony
Like,
loves it.
all the
It is great.
yeah, it was at the time it was like oh gosh, it was like $200 some, but I was like, of all the series that I could rewatch over and over again, it would be the X-Files.
Yeah, it's a great series.
Yeah, like that's.
But did anybody like the reboot that they did? Like, remember a few years back they brought it back and
I liked it.
It was okay.
I did. I was very.
I like the
started
trash
watching
can
it, but
monster. I like the
I
trash
started
can
watching it, but
monster.
I couldn't finish watching it for certain reasons.
Karen, I see. I think what's dope about living in Canada, or that would be dope about living in Canada, is they film so much up there. Like there were tons.
Here, yeah.
So many X-Files episodes were filmed in Vancouver and British Columbia and all that. Yeah, like they filmed so much of the, because a lot of the West Coast, like when they were up in like when the episodes were like in Washington State, or they were up in Oregon and stuff, they were filmed up in Vancouver. I think it was Vancouver that they filmed them up in at the time.
Yeah. So they filmed tons of stuff here, actually, where I live.
Georgia's one that the filming industry has gone nuts over, because there's like
I'll be back.
There's so many tax incentives and tax breaks for filming in Georgia. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we get lots of Hallmark movies here, though.
Yeah, my mom would.
The Dogs of Christmas and Dogs of Christmas 2, and
my mom would love that. She's a Hallmark movie nut, and I'll call her sometimes around December, and she'll be like, "What are you doing? Watching the Hallmark Channel?" I'm like, "No." So you're watching the same movie? No, there isn't. But even my mom's like, "I've watched so many of them that there are some telltale signs you're watching a Hallmark movie." She goes, "One, it doesn't matter what situation you're in. You will be a beautiful 20-something working at a menial job, but you have the means to do 1,000,005 things."
Yeah.
She's like, no matter where you are in a Hallmark movie, you always have off-street parking right in front of the business. Like, she just mentioned all these things to me. I was like, oh, there's little things here and there. But yeah, it's amazing how much. I mean, some of what was the original You Can't Do That on Television from Nickelodeon. It was all filmed.
I remember that.
I think the whole thing was filmed up in Canada somewhere.
Cool.
Because
I've been here 20-some years, so I haven't seen everything. And then we've had a large chunk of it with the shutdowns that nothing's happened. But before that, it was just a lot of Hallmark movies.
Oh yeah.
But before that was X-Files, I remember, and also that kind of spin-off show Millennium.
Yes, Millennium with Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, I love that.
That was an awesome show.
They filmed that here too.
That's a
Oh,
box set right now, or like each individual season. There was like 5 seasons, I
It
think.
just
Each
ended though. I
each
was so
each
disappointed.
yeah, each one of those seasons is worth a lot of money. I found I think
Oh.
like I found like a used version of, or volume 5. I think it was the last season at Goodwill for like $3, and I think I sold it for like $60. So because it was
Oh wow.
pretty up there now, for sure. But that was Millennium was a cool one too. Anything
Trash Test says, I had an idea for a Hallmark movie. I was going to call it A Christmas Tree for Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, what do you? Santa's been poking his ass into every holiday for the last 20 years anyway. So it's so one of these times you're gonna be like, here in the States, you're gonna be like, Happy July 4th with Santa Claus.
You weren't allowed to watch. You can't do it on television, Ice Lord. I watch that all the time.
Hey, I knew kids,
and that explains a lot, Nye.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Dude, I knew kids growing up. Now, of course, this was in the 80s, 90s. I grew up in a little, very, I don't want to say uber Christian conservative neighborhood, but it was there. But I had some people that I knew whose parents would not let them watch the Smurfs because Gargamel was a demon. And I was like, what?
Plus, it was one girl and like all those boys too.
Yeah, like literally, and they were like, "Oh yeah," and the Gargamel and the cat had like a demonic name, and I was like, they're cartoons, right? Like, it's like you're not watching The Exorcist, you're literally watching Smurfs, right? But yeah,
subliminal. It's all subliminal.
Yeah.
I've heard the theory before that Smurfs were supposed to be Nazis or some shit.
Streetcar Named Bob. I was dying laughing. No, I can't say I've ever seen a Streetcar Named Bob.
By the way, my headphones, the
it's
battery died, so if you hear an echo, that's why. Because
no, actually, I think it's doing fine. I don't think there's really an echo at all.
Okay, we're 10 to 2 hours, just so you guys know.
Oh, sorry. I hope I'm not keeping you ladies.
It's great.
That's cool.
I just want you guys to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we're just having a good time.
Time always. A case, so no more.
I think this has been the best live stream so far.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate it. I appreciate being a part of it. Now are you ladies into? I know it's come back over the last 5 years or so, but vinyl. Anybody like vinyl at all?
No.
I just wonder. Yeah,
my mother used to collect it though, but I think for me it just was never a thing.
Yeah, I grew up in the 90s where everything. Just give me a CD.
I remember my mother had all these like records on vinyl and stuff.
My sister just did.
It's funny you mentioned not the sound and now the echoes there.
Well, echo.
Sorry.
I hear by laughing.
I mean, them damn headphones lasted as long as they could, but apparently they can't only last that much.
That's weird. I wonder what it is that makes it again that does the echo thing.
StreamYard said it was.
You have the headphones in, you hear the playback from like when you talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the now there's one on your shelf that I honestly say I've never seen before. Was the Stir of Echo. I've never seen that.
Oh yeah. It's Kevin Bacon. 90s, I think, or maybe 2000s. It doesn't live up on the rewatch.
I like that movie though. I think it's great.
I liked it, but the rewatch.
I watched it a lot of times, so I guess I have
you
to
like it.
Yeah, I really like it.
I think another guilty pleasure is Tremors with Kevin Bacon. That's such a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tremor, it's so that's one of the ones that play on USA all the time. Well, too. You turn on USA, it's on. It's always on.
That's the movie. I hated the sequel though when they like recast Kevin Bacon. Like no.
Now,
I never saw that.
have probably seen this, and I'm still mad at myself. I've never watched it. I know a couple buddies of mine like, you gotta watch it. Watch it. The unrated, not the R version, but the unrated Martyrs. I've never seen Martyrs yet.
What?
I don't know if I've seen the unrated.
I know I've
No.
seen.
I have it.
I'm guessing it's good.
What is the difference between the unrated and the rated R version?
Yeah.
It's. I heard there was just more brutal stuff in it. The unrated.
Yeah, it's extreme.
Do they
It just
show the
shows
girl
everything.
actually getting
I don't want to
skinned?
give it away, but it's
Oh,
just.
tell us. Did they show the girl actually getting skinned?
Mhm.
They do?
Mhm.
'Cause, like, in the version I've seen, it's just like implied. It's not actually shown.
Yes, the French one.
Yeah. So like they actually show the skin being pulled off and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
That one.
Wow.
It's just.
I heard it's just brutal. Like it's just brutal.
Hmm. In the version I've seen,
Yeah.
the skinning part is just implied. They don't actually show her skin. How then they see her without skin, but like they don't actually show when they pull
Right.
it off the
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah. I know that one.
When it was streaming, I actually got a chance to catch it when it was streaming, which I was lucky because they pulled it off. And I was like, what?
I agree that
Was Terrifier the one with the clown? Did anybody see that?
Which
Seen
one?
what?
Terrifier?
Oh, we did
Yes.
before it.
It was. I was surprised. I watched it out here by myself, and I was like, when he's that's awesome. I was like,
Yeah.
that's such a good scene.
I chatted with Art.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm not saying anymore, but I did.
Awesome.
Just keep watching the show.
When he cut the girl in half, they did that
Ugh.
in this bone tomahawk.
Ugh.
You've seen that, right?
What they did with what?
Bone tomahawk or something like that. They did like a similar scene in that one. How he cut the girl in half. They did something similar in that one.
Does anybody particular? Now this is a question I was thinking too. Does anybody have a particular of all the movies they've ever made, horror movies and anything else? A particular death scene that still sticks out to you. That's like my favorite. Watching somebody,
Well, I've said that before, but it's not my favorite scene, but I think it's very fucking memorable because it's just so fucking ridiculous. In Hatchet 2, I think, when Tiny Todd's character gets killed, it's so over the fucking top how he cut him in half, and then he put his hand on like the back of his spine and he literally pulled the guy out of his tree. I'm dead.
Nice.
It was so over the top. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? When he snapped him in half and then he was grabbing like his spine. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And then he literally pulled dude out of his skin. And he was still alive. I was like,
that's crazy.
She eats while she watches things. Just saying.
That's You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, that's. I think my favorite one. I think I have two. Was I think the very first one I think I ever saw was the one that got me.
So the Devil is a good movie. It's so brutal.
I heard that was good. Yeah.
It's fucking brutal.
Was
it?
Fulci movie called City of the Living Dead. And
that's the one I haven't seen.
Okay, well, I don't want to ruin it then. There's a scene in there where well, I can't say it now because
well, you can say it. You go. I don't care.
There's a scene where this guy he sees this dead priest. When you see the dead priest, you know you're gonna go. And his girlfriend he sits there and he's watching this girl watch his car. She throws up all of her innards. Every one of them, like, it just comes out, like, all of them just come out, the liver, just watching. I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's a good one. And then there was a Fulci movie.
But I've seen that scene.
And there's another folk called Demonia, where this guy stepped on
The tongue?
Well, no, I was thinking the one where the tree he steps on the tree trap and it takes him. Yeah, basically it's like the same Terrifier, but the guy's standing up and he steps in this tree trap. Two trees, they split him in half. They literally take both of his legs and they go like that, and he just splits right up the thing. It's so good, so good.
What a good way to build a strong stomach.
I would have to agree.
I just watched Antichrist. It had some pretty crazy scenes in it too.
I've heard that. Is that the one with Willem Dafoe?
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it good? Oh.
Yeah.
Must mean
It's
something.
twisted.
I
I liked it. It's very controversial, but I liked it. I'm gonna
Controversial
review it.
in what aspect?
Because they do the scissor scene. I know, I felt that shit. I was like, oh fuck.
It's for these guys.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
It's nothing, but for regular people, it's pretty traumatizing. Yeah.
Would it traumatize me?
No, I don't think so.
Because I've seen Necromantic.
Hey, I watched, what was it? I think it was Hard Candy, one where the guy with what's her name? When she was younger, and watching that as a guy, I was like, oh.
I know, right? You was in there squirming in your seat, weren't you?
I was like,
Antichrist would be squirmy too.
yeah, because it's watching Hard Candy as a guy. That's why I was like, you don't fuck with underage people because they can mess you up.
I couldn't stand the scissor scene in Antichrist. See, everybody knows the scissor scene. And
now I'm gonna have to.
We're gonna have to watch it then.
Yeah, you guys should watch it.
It's good.
It's on Shudder or Netflix.
Which one?
Antichrist.
I don't have Shudder.
I think it's on Netflix.
It's on Shudder, maybe.
Shudder. Definitely not on Netflix.
It's either Tubi, Shudder, or Netflix.
Yeah.
Was anybody fans of the when it was on like in the early 2000s, mid 2000s? Anybody fans of the Masters of Horror series? Any of those little?
I've never seen it. I've heard of it.
Oh my god, you gotta watch it. It's on
There was plenty of good ones in there. There were plenty of good ones in there, and I think one of the creepiest ones, at least in my opinion, when in the Masters of Horror series, what I have called I can't remember. It's over there, but it's where they find this girl. Do you remember that old TV show called Wings? It was one of the brothers. Tim Daly. Tim Daly's in it. Yeah. Or no, not Tim. It was one of them. But the movie is where they find this girl. He and his wife find this girl, and she's like out on the road, and she's like naked, and it's raining and stuff, and they bring her in, and she's got like the body of like God, it's like if she does. What's that?
About
Jennifer, yes, that's right. And she's got like, but she has the face of like a demon, like Jennifer by Jazz, and it's like, and her face is just all like it's all, and yes, she's a butterface. And what it is like, I guess the man's character, like the man character, and it's a story that happens over and over and over again because the guy gets so turned on by her girl and her butt from like here down, and like when they find out that she's like, when he looks past the fact that she's like this hideous gross thing, and then like he comes in one time and he like sees the girl eating the house cat, like, and like stuff like that, and so he has to like start hiding her and stuff like that. It's a damn good story for that Master of the Horror series.
It's a crazy story. Yeah, I like most of the Masters of Horror. Like my three favorite ones is the first one they ever made. What is it, like the incident on something road?
Yes, somebody told me about that. The incident on something road. Yeah.
I love that one. Then I love Cigarette Burns and I love Imprint. Those are my.
Somebody told me about Cigarette Burns.
Oh, that one is
Cigarette Burns.
good. Well, I like that one because I like cursed movies.
Someone said that the Family one was good too. The Family or something had like George Wendt in it. The guy from Cheers. Or something. Yeah, they said that Family one was supposed to be pretty crazy too. I like how all the main dudes of horror like John Carpenter and Dario Argento, they all got their chance at doing these little movies, and I was like, that's really cool.
That's why it's called Masters of Horror.
I mean, there were some really decent ones in there.
And I love the theme song, like the opening song with the episode stars too. Is so like creepy and so eerie. And just the opening credits is so creepy looking.
There was that series was really good, and I know that there was like another one too. Like there was a couple of those anthology series where a bunch of they made him into just series, and there was a lot of good ones in each and every one of those, but I never got a chance to watch hardly any of them just because but yeah, there's just so much good stuff out there, and unfortunately there's just not enough time to watch everything. This is a shame,
Yeah.
So many classic films that I know that people have always been like, "Do you ever see that?" I'm like, "No, sorry, I haven't. I can't say that I have." But yeah, that X-Files. But I'm telling you, man, that the X-Files, going back to that, some of the episodes in that are so memorable. Like the home one that showed one.
Yes, the one with the mutant
family,
family.
incest family. Yeah, that's creepy. That's like one of the creepiest ones that they ever did.
They had their house booby trapped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to believe that, like X-Files, they showed it one time. They never showed it, and you just go, that's great. But now, I mean, I think you can go back and find it now. But at the time, when you have a show like that, it pushes the envelope that far, you just go, geez. What was I was looking back on your shelf back there? I saw Hannibal back there. I remember one of those people that took forever for me to watch Silence. I finally got around to watching that years ago, and I was like, "Oh, it's a pretty good movie." I was like, "No wonder."
The book?
No.
It's so the ending is so different from the movie.
Is it?
Yeah, like it's totally fucking different. The Hannibal book, not the Silence of the Lamb book. It's so fucking different.
Is it better?
It depends which way you look at it. They literally ride into the sunset together, like Hannibal and Clarice Starling.
Wow.
Yep.
See, that scene in that movie is why I still can't eat and watch these movies.
In the book, she eats the brains with him.
Oh, really?
Yep. And then they ride into the sunset together.
Yuck.
Well, that's like the book American Psycho by Bret Eastman Ellis, like the book American Psycho. I watched that or read that. It's so good, and based on it, they do a very good job. I think it was Mary something that did the movie. She did a really good job of putting it into film, but there's so many portions of the book that are just so much more brutal that they couldn't put on. And
I've never read the book, so I don't know. I'm sure it's really interesting.
It has. Did you ever read? I'm sure you've all read a nice book where there's a scene that actually makes you laugh out loud. Like when you read it, like you're just like, oh my god. There's a scene in American Psycho where, he's already messed up. And he's, this debonair guy, and, just always trying to get the lady and this, that, and the other. Well, there's this one in the book where he makes this woman like this, he goes, the book is twisted, right? It is good. But there's this scene in the book where he makes the girl eat this dessert that he made, and the dessert, he puts a urinal cake in the middle of the dessert, and she crunches into it, she bites, she goes, it's so minty and good. It's just like, it makes you just laugh every time you read it. It's just, he's like, I bet it is. And he does one of these things, but I just read it and I was like cracking up.
American Psycho Part 2. I need to review that because it's terrible.
Yeah, it sucked to me.
Mila Kunis.
Yeah, it was terrible. Was she supposed to be like his daughter or something? I forgot how it went. Or did he kill her parents? One of the two. Either she was his daughter or he killed her parents, right? Something along those lines.
It's hard to believe that it's something that's terrible.
I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah. It was clearly like one of those movies where they was trying to cash in on like the famous title of the first movie. It really doesn't even have nothing to do with the first movie. They just wanted to put American Psycho in there so people would watch it.
Did anyone ever watch Carrie 2: The Rage?
Yeah.
Was it ever any good?
If you like the so bad that is good movies, sure.
I do dig some of those. That's for sure. I told you I like playing Night in Outer Space. Come on,
It's another one of those movies that have nothing to do with the original, but they just kind of put the title in there to kind of like, and they shoehorn. I think the main character is supposed to be like Carrie's daughter, if I remember correctly, which doesn't even make any sense because I'm pretty sure Carrie never had any kids. I'm pretty sure Carrie never had sex. Like it was very heavily implied.
I don't know. I don't know if Carrie was there and even she was giving it away. I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna go ahead and pass. Good.
Yeah. Good. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's how I remember it. I remember her being Carrie's daughter somehow. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, all I know is that all I know is that as a guy, I remember watching the opening scene of Carrie, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm too young to even understand what's going on. I'm like, what? I was like, this is a thing? Oh God.
I mean, I knew what was going on, but I could kind of sort of relate because I didn't have the same experience as Carrie, but I also kind of didn't know what was going on when I whatever.
Hey, growing up with all brothers and no females in the house, but your mom sits there going, I don't know what's going on. Like you have no idea.
And those girls did her so dirty. They did not need to treat her like that.
No, of course.
Bitches.
Well, I'll tell you. Speaking of scenes that where you still watch them to this day, and they make you shudder. You know, we talked a couple about this, but I'm telling you, that first time I watched, was it not Paul Newman, but in oh God. Misery when his ankle when she does his ankles like that, like watching his ankle just so creepy.
In a book though, I've never read the book, but I heard that she like cut off his foot in a book. Yeah, she did.
Oh yeah. Well, that book, that's a good book too. I read. Well, it's like when they did the TV rendition of The Stand, that miniseries, which was good. But the book, I wish that they could have made the book into like an HBO miniseries. Like that. They could have done it so well. But the book, there was just so much going on. You couldn't get all that in a movie.
I mean, the book is like huge. Wasn't it like 1,000 pages or something?
It's like 100 pages or something.
Oh, Trash Stash says he just, or she, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just today. Okay, I'm gonna check it out because I kind of forgot how it went. I just remember it was really silly. I forgot how it went though. So was she Carrie's daughter, the Trash Stash? Because I don't remember for sure. Was she her daughter? That's for whatever reason is how I'm remembering it. That she was her daughter. I don't know what that's in my head. If I am wrong.
I think you're right.
I'm right.
I don't.
I'm not positive. Not positive though.
But how could she be Carrie's daughter? Carrie never had sex.
I don't.
I'm pretty positive that Carrie never did.
Maybe she was just a girl that had the same
cousin.
as Carrie.
Cousin. Okay, so she was her cousin, maybe. It was Carrie's cousin. Okay. So she was her family. All right. So yeah, I was half right. She was her family. She just wasn't her daughter.
a newer series that I didn't get into because I think I watched the first one and then I tried to watch the second one or even the third one. Was the Insidious series. I'm not. Does anybody else
There's
like
an
those?
Insidious
I
series.
like Insidious, but they just went really downhill after the first two movies, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Because I think it was like the first one was good, and then I think it was like the second one. The wife and I now we put it in one night, and like it was for 20 minutes in, and we turned it off. It was so boring. I was like, "What is going? What are we doing?"
I don't know. I like.
I've seen the first one.
I really like the second one, but after the second one, though, like the third one, the fourth one, I just couldn't really get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the second one, though.
I think all the attention went on to the Conjuring series franchise and kind of kicked it off.
Yeah.
And Annabelle.
But then they have like Annabelle, the Conjuring spin-off. Wasn't it crazy that Annabelle was so good, like in whatever little parts in the Conjuring, but then when they gave Annabelle her spin-off, it was so trash. It's like, fuck.
I didn't like any of the Annabelle movies.
No, I like the Annabelle creation somewhat, just because
That's my movie. I love it.
It was much better than the other Annabelle movie. It was so much fucking better. But I still think that the best Annabelle we have ever seen was in the Conjuring movies. Oh, and then Annabelle goes home or comes home.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, that was so bad.
I didn't like it.
That was straight trash. I was mad because I've actually seen it at the movie theater. I like paid to. Yep. I was sitting there mad as hell.
It's a shame when you go into a good one you want to see, and then you just sit down and you get done with it. And you're like, why?
You spent money at the movie theater.
What did you think of Robert the Doll? Dash? Did you guys watch it?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't watched the whole thing. It's really slow. But maybe it's good if you watch the whole thing.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it, so I don't know.
It's on Tubi.
Okay.
Seems like there's a lot of good stuff on that Tubi. You guys say
over 10,000 horror.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of movies.
Yeah.
And it's free.
There's a lot of like surprisingly disturbing movies on there too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I gotta ask. But a buddy of mine was asking me if I've ever seen it. I've read enough about it that I think I should have seen it by now, but I have not. Is a Serbian film.
Oh god, I haven't seen that, and I don't want to.
I've seen it.
Of course.
The video store here keeps it behind the cash register.
Yeah, I think Arrow Video just put out I think it was Arrow that put out like a 2-disc, a big deluxe edition of it that you can get in. I've heard enough about it that I'm like, I don't want to watch the final scene because I was like that or just way over the line, way over the top.
No, it's not. Robert the Doll's not about the boy. I don't think it's the same story.
No, it's not. It's a different.
Okay.
The boy, or Robert the Doll, is this actual doll that they have in a glass case in one of the states. I forget where. And it's actually possessed and haunted. And you have to ask it permission to film it and all these things before you like do stuff, or you'll get cursed. I don't know.
Oh, I did hear that.
It's like a male Annabelle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever happened.
But the movie, the doll looks really like weird and creepy, but the actual doll is like this soft, stitched together, cute little doll. You should check it out, Curly.
Really? It's not the same doll is the one on the poster?
No.
Oh. Okay.
See, you started talking about a possessed doll and the echo went away.
Oh, don't say that. Because I did the Exorcist review, and ever since I've done that, we've had so many weird things go wrong today.
The devil.
Not that that's what it is, but it's just like,
Oh.
That's one of those things. I did not grow up in a religious household. I always had the opportunity to choose whatever I wanted to, whatever I believed in. But as I've gotten older, maybe I might not believe in the devil, but I certainly believe in evil. Like there's evil out there that you just don't want to mess with in certain aspects of whatever it may be, because that to me is more horrifying than what any human can do. Like there's some evil that humans can do, don't get me wrong, but then there's just pure evil that's out there too. Like
I believe everything's kind of connected too, and that the earth and us are all kind of connected, kind of like a green Wicca thing. And so you put stuff out there, it can come back. I don't know.
I think in the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose, they said something along the lines of the devil exists whether you believe in him or not, or some shit. I don't know.
I think that's a very underrated exorcism movie. I like it.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones that
I
I kind of dug, and I think one of the reasons why I like that one was because in that scene where she starts talking in tongues, that's like really cool. Like when she starts talking like words and it's
When she starts counting.
She was
Just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever. That always creeped me out. And when she was eating the spiders, because I'm scared of spiders. That shit freaked me the fuck out, girl.
You're scared of something?
Spiders, yes, they're disgusting.
What?
Spiders.
I mean, if you sleep with your mouth open, they crawl in and lay eggs all over.
Stop. I don't think
Oh, okay. So I'll recommend some spider movies for you, Curly.
I mean, I will still eat while watching them, but I don't like spiders.
I'm on a tough one. Arachnophobia is always a tough watch for me. It's not because I was. It's not even that. It's just the creepy crawl. It's like all those creepy, like all of them. Like it just.
Like when the spider is crawling like inside of a bowl of popcorn or something, and the person is eating it, and you keep thinking anytime now they're gonna touch the spider. That always creeped me the fuck out.
I mean, just even that scene in the original Suspiria when all the maggots start dropping from the ceiling, like you just like that's just creepy. Because maggots are gross.
Maggots are gross because they like eat flesh, so they could drop on you and like eat you.
Strawberry.
Oh, okay. So it was Robert the Doll's in
Key West, Florida. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the stream, and the echoes are kind of.
See, it comes back. Stop talking about an exorcist doll, and then it comes.
They don't last forever. They are wireless headphones.
I don't know. There's some.
Spiders are nice. They're
Like
just
little
cats
cat.
with legs. Ew, well, I don't like cats neither. So
Those
Good thing you're not a mom. You have to catch them. My daughter can spot them from like a mile away.
Listen, if I was a mom, I ain't catching shit. Them kids better go and catch some spiders themselves. I ain't messing with them.
like I heard somebody the other day. She was a comedian. She was talking about wanting. She's like, I'm at that age where people are like, you paid to go see a horror movie. It's like, you know what's horrifying? Walking to your mailbox, getting a letter from the IRS. That's scary. That's pretty horrifying. She's like, if Dracula wanted to come over one night, okay. But like, yeah, it's like that age of scared by movies, It's like people pay for that. I don't remember the last time though I went to an actual movie like there were scenes that jump or scare, the jump scare, if you will. I'm just like most of the time in the movies nowadays, you can see them coming a mile away.
Yeah.
There's nothing that really makes you jump.
Like cliches. There's certain cliches where you're gonna get a jump scare.
Yeah.
Like the hand on the shoulder thing and other stuff. You just know you're gonna get it.
I'm looking at, I'm one of those people where I know the camera's on, I'm trying to look at all of you equally, but I always end up looking at myself and I'm always like, something's off here. And I was like, it's backwards. I'm looking in the camera, but I do something else. Oh,
Oh, Al. Hi, Al. Sorry,
hi, Al.
no echo, and then as soon as you came on, there was echoes.
Oh, you brought the echoes.
Way to go.
No, I'm just joking, Al.
No, it's because my headphones died. We wasn't having echo before, but my headphones.
okay.
not
That's okay.
working no more.
We did a good hour and a half.
Mhm.
No, that was
Mhm.
great. That was great.
You lost your voice
Yeah.
yet?
Nah, you're just being so quiet. What are you doing?
I can't get a word in.
Okay, now you take the floor. Your turn.
Well, I had a lot to say, but now I forgot everything. Yep. I know that sucks, doesn't it?
Well,
I'll keep it quiet here.
Well, wait a minute. Wait. I
It was
have
perfect for the first hour and a half, Al.
I have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre Steelbook. I haven't even opened it yet.
Keep it
Wow.
close. Keep it
I
close.
bought it 2 months ago. I don't know why I won't open it.
Don't. Keep it close. It's nice. Gorgeous. Those are that's a big thing in the collector realm now. Steelbooks. Everybody wants steelbooks. Everybody. All over the place.
Yeah.
Same thing with the 4K. You know, everybody's looking at all the 4K stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
watching
who's
that.
gonna test? That's what it was. Have you seen Creepshow 3? Creepshow 3?
Is it good?
I hear it's pretty
It's
bad.
trash. And Curly, you're supposed to be watching it.
No, it's on my list. You know, my
But
long.
Adam, you need to see it. It's
my
trash.
long list of
I-
movies.
There's so many ones out
It's
there.
funny. It's funny to me.
Trash Dash liked it.
That's one. Okay.
I love this one though. I mean, because that was the Sparrow Steve kind of like collaboration. There's some good stories in the first.
To avoid.
He's Alex told the voice Creepshow.
Mixed reviews.
Tipsy.
You got to review it.
One day. It's on my list.
There's so many ones out there telling me to watch. Like I want to go and watch a super famous movie that I never. People are like, how have you not seen that movie? It's never got around to it. The Usual Suspect. Never seen it.
I've seen it. That's a good movie.
They say it's amazing. Like I've never gotten around to watching it because, I know the line "Who's Jose," but I don't know what that means. I don't know. Watched it.
Isn't it on Netflix?
It might be.
I don't know.
I think it was at some point at least.
Anybody here? Documentaries?
Of what?
Oh, if you like to part 2.
Anybody hear of what? I didn't hear what he said.
Oh, is anybody like
Documentaries?
Mhm.
Yeah, I like the true crime documentaries.
Yeah, me too.
There's some
I
really
like
good
ocean
ones.
documentary.
What was that, Karen?
I like ocean documentary.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Oh yeah, anything. When true crime. A lot of documentaries are real good.
There's lots of good documentaries on Shudder too. You were saying? Curly?
On Shudder, well, I was saying on Netflix I usually watch them, but Shudder has documentaries what is it, cursed films where they talk about accidents and weird stuff that was happening on the sets of the movies, like The Exorcist and other horror movies and stuff. And they have another one called no, that one is on Netflix. My bad. But yeah, Shudder has that one called Cursed Films. That one is pretty good. And then Netflix has that one called Movies That Made Us or something, where they talk about famous, iconic movies and how they were made and the process and stuff. It's pretty good.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Curly, you're talking. There's feedback on. I'm like, going, what? Does she get preferential treatment?
Oh, I can be quiet.
No. I'm saying there's no echo when you're talking. That's why I was like, you're the only one. There's no echo.
Yes, weird, eh?
On my end, it was breaking up, so all I heard was that I'm the only one talking. So I was like, okay.
No. There's no echo when you're talking. That's why I was like, I was like, the system's like, we like Curly. It's not gonna echo when she's talking. Everybody else is.
Really?
That's how it was last time.
But I'm the only one without the headphones.
Yeah, I don't got him in.
I don't have them either.
I also don't have that.
I have headphones.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we fixed it. We know what fixed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's all good. No worries.
That one you were saying about the first films, I do remember seeing back. There was that one horror movie where there was a helicopter crash. Helicopter cut that dude in half. Like that was like a real thing that happened in the movie.
You know about the Twilight Zone movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
That
right.
was
The kid in-
freaky. Vic Morrow. Yeah.
Oh, I've bitten the echo algorithm. Good for me.
For sure. No, yeah, I heard about that was one that was up on the internet real early. Somebody mentioned that. They were like, dude died. Dude filming the helicopter, like cut him in half.
And it was
Like,
kids.
that's-
Yeah, those two kids too were killed.
Wow.
Poor kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy though.
There's Brandon Lee got shot for that recent thing with what's his name? Baldwin, with lady hair. It's some terrible stuff that goes on in filming. It's a shame. Any other good topics to discuss? I was trying to think of anything else that was on my mind. There's so many good ones out there to watch. There's so much good stuff out there that needs to be viewed, but unfortunately, it's just the sheer amount of time having 24 hours in a day is not enough.
For sure. Yeah.
It's crazy to watch all the stunts he did on Blues Brothers and then hear about the Twilight Zone accident. You could have predicted it would have happened.
This is so eerie. It just freaks me out.
Well, was when you were doing when you were talking about the Exorcist one, there was a couple things that happened on set there too, right? Stuff caught on fire and things like that, right?
That burned down. The interior scene, that set, the whole thing burned down. Linda Blair broke her back because she was strapped to that harness and it came loose and she was, and Ellen Burstyn was shoved back too hard, so she bruised her back really bad. And what else? And then 9 deaths were connected to all of the cast and actors. Whether that was
remember hearing that,
I don't know, but Friedkin really pushed the limits of like what he would do to get the shot, and they did that back then a lot. Because remember Jaws too? Like nobody wanted to do the movie again after. I think that back then a lot of times the sequels didn't happen because of that reason. They were like, fuck that, I'm not working with that guy again, forget it, can't pay me enough. Right. Like I'm amazed actually in The Exorcist that the stunt double that got like thrown down the stairs, that staircase, didn't hurt himself or die, because that was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean that was a big thing back in the day when directors would just push it to get a certain scene or to get a certain a thing done that people got hurt or they this, that, and the other, and they're like, finally, I got it, and then people are like, somebody just got hurt, I don't care, because directors were the creme de la creme of that then, do whatever they want. Producers, directors sitting there, make somebody do it 10 times in a row and they're holding their breath or something like that, or whatever they called for,
Yeah, I'm curious about that, like whether it was a money thing or they were under contract so they didn't have a choice or what. But a lot of the women that were injured, the people that were injured in The Exorcist were women too. So that's interesting. I know a lot of, women had it harder back then too. So
just
went through with it. Yeah.
a lot of films like the Carrie and stuff like that, where the cast is predominantly female. You gotta wonder why some of that stuff might have happened in those type films as well.
Right.
I'm telling you, in a lot of the old exploitation films in the 70s and things like that, which is I gotta admit, I'm fortunately, or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, huge fan of that genre. But like the things that the directors would make women do, you just go halfway through it, they brought up their eyes. They were like, I'm not doing this anymore. But at the end of the day, they're like, well, it's paycheck.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
It's or just a lot of the things that they got away with that were socially acceptable back then too. We're just like, well, that's just the way it is. Because we were was in another live chat not too long ago. We were talking about movies that could not be remade nowadays due to social constructs, social norms, and things like that. To go ahead and try to remake Blazing Saddles from Mel Brooks, there's no way. He couldn't do it. There's so many like that. There's so many of those type films. But like they were talking about too, like you couldn't go back and remake the Porky series from the 80s. There's no way you could do that. There's just you couldn't do that. There's no one would want to see that nowadays. But in the 80s, it was like normal stuff.
Yeah, totally. I'm constantly being told by people from other countries too that things were banned. Films were banned in their countries. They didn't get to see things for a lot of years later.
Yeah, I mean, some of the ones that were just so over the top.
Sorry. Echo saying, "Al, I give the Echoes the day off now. I gotta pay them every day." Sorry. We had the Echoes the last 2 streams. It's because we need to wear the headphones and we have to have the screen shut off. So Echo was always on those streams, so it became kind of a joke that he was pausing it.
On those streams. It's one of the co-hosts.
Well, guys, it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
What do you think?
It's the longest one we ever did, right?
It's been awesome, though.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much again for just having me. I just love just chatting and talking, having a good time, and just laughing and enjoying being able to write down stuff I've never seen and just remember it and try to figure things out. And I appreciate all of your time, and thank you again so much for having me. I'd love to do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you too. I hope you do a YouTube channel.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to collab with somebody and be like, I'm an old fart. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I get to do this? How do I get editing software so I don't look like a moron just talking to an empty screen?
I film on my phone.
Yeah.
I have an external little microphone. I have a ring light. That's it. You work with what you have.
Definitely have to check it out and have somebody be like, here's what you do, here's how you end it, start, just check it out. All these people all have channels, and I'm like, just want to get to all of them. There's not enough time today. I set my alarm to every stuff. So, well, thank you guys. Thank you, ladies, again so much
Thanks for coming.
Really, really appreciate it. It's just so kind of you to have. It's a shame how 2.5 hours just talking with and having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, have a good night.
You too. Bye, guys.
Take care. Yep. Take care, ladies. Have a good one.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Forgot to